Christopher Robin, what exactly is doing nothing?
Well, I'm told it means going along, listening to all the things you can't hear, and not bothering.
When I'm with you, I'm with you. And all when I'm with you, I'm with you. Forever and ever, all alone on the moon, and you will always answer forever, forever, forever and ever, all alone on the moon.
Listening to all the things you can't hear. No matter what I could always be together. You should know. Always be together. No matter what I could always be together. Always be together. No matter what I could always be together. You should know. Always be together. No matter what I could always be together.
Every summer, wherever you ever, every summer, and you will always answer. Every summer, wherever you ever, every summer, find me. When I'm with you, I'm with you. When I'm with you, I'm with you.
Remember.
Forever and ever, all alone on the moon, and you will always answer. Forever, ever, forever and ever, all alone on the moon.
I wanna stay like this, no matter what I could always be together. You should know, always be together. No matter what I could always be together. Always be together. No matter what I could always be together. You should know, always be together. No matter what I could always be together. Always be together.
Every summer, wherever you ever, every summer, and you will always answer. Every summer, wherever you ever, every summer, find me.
No matter what I could always be together. You should know, always be together. No matter what I could always be together. Always be together. No matter what I could always be together. You should know, always be together. No matter what I could always be together. Always be together.
And hello, best chat. Welcome to a special episode of Morning Nonsense, because as the people have dictated, we are going to have a Saturday morning nonsense. Now, this only happens when people say yes, people take to the vote. Always vote. Power the vote, power the people. Always. And here we are, chat. Here we are, ready for some delicious morning nonsense. Now, today we're going to go over the scripts that Hex Harper so generously linked us to, but unfortunately I can't find it anymore. I've had forgotten to bookmark it. But however, to make amends, I went ahead and got the comic. So I couldn't find the scripts, so I did get the comic. So we have that. We have that coming on. But that's not the only thing, though. That's not the only thing, though, chat. Because we have some Star Wars stuff, and because we have some Star Wars stuff, of course, I'm always excited to invite Shiny aboard. Hello, Shiny.
Howdy. Hello there.
Let's see here. Always glad to have you on. Awesome. We have some Star Wars stuff to go over, too.
So it's actually going to be Star Wars stuff this time. It's going to be Star Wars stuff, and it's going to be about Star Wars stuff.
Maybe. Oh, and here we go. Lord Commander Dunn. Welcome. Oh, Lord Captain Dunn.
Hello.
There you are.
So you're breaking up a little bit. Yeah. I'm just finishing up with work.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, hello, Shiny. Hello, Lord Captain Dunn. And hello, chat. Let's see here. Demon of Thy Sword. Good morning, chat. Always an honor to attend. Well, hello, Demon of Thy Sword. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drake the Duelist. Morning. Stuff that came up. I'm only going to get to stay for a couple hours. I'll stay up and catch up on this later. Awesome. Awesome. No problem about that.
We
How
do
about that at all?
that just considering
Let's see here.
as far as the
Dr.
priority,
Crow.
what's really
Hi, everyone who is here. Hello, Dr. Crow. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Well, so welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. Let's see here. Vicky. Morning, all. Morning, all. Let's see here. Insult to the human race. Don't worry, Shiny. I'll put more to your ransom today. Also, good morning, fellow work. So, good morning. Insult to the human race. Let's see here. CWD Trixie. Nothing like a weekend to do nothing. Awesome. Yeah, that's always good to have a weekend to do nothing but what you want to do.
Isn't
Always
that
good
what
to have.
weekends are supposed to be, but not end up being?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that way. Yeah.
Not yet. I'm just cleaning up, so nothing's on the floor.
Let's see. Alexstar H Lobo. Hi, LD. Hello, Alexstar H Lobo. Simpleton. Like Peter Pan. ED. Let's see. Baptist 702. Welcome to Baptist 702. Is it time for another lecture on the bagel theory? Yes, more bagel theory stuff. More bagel theory stuff. Because
Never get enough
apparently
of bagel theory.
Disney Star Wars has been doing some naughty revisionist stuff and rewriting old Star Wars things.
Oh, great. What have they been doing? What asinine thing are they doing this time?
We'll find out. Let's see here. And it's a race, Image 5. Appreciate that. He's a little bit towards Chinese ransom because I'm mourning for fantastic nonsense. Awesome. Thank you very much, Insult to the Race. Appreciate that. Awesome. We almost got it. You almost got it, chat. We almost got Shiny free from the basement of hell. Let's see here. All right. So the numbers. Hello, the numbers. Good morning, LD. It's just you, Shiny, and just chat, and best chat. It's always best chat. In chat is the best guest. They're always here.
Material?
Chat is always here. Oh yeah, you are. I can hear you.
100% attendance.
Let's see here. Hammer, hail pizza. Well, hail Hammer. Thank you for joining.
Pizza is a very important thing to hail.
Absolutely. Let's see here. A drunken mumble. I'm prepared for the nonsense, though. Awesome. Always good to hear. We have plenty of nonsense to go over. As always, plenty of nonsense to go over. See here, Travis Avis. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Travis Avis. Awesome. See, Light Yagami. CW Arrowverse does what Disney does with Star Wars EU whenever it comes to the Arrowverse shows. So, like, good stuff, or that sounds good to me because Disney's Star Wars EU. Oh, you mean like just cancels
Do you want to beat yourself while you're doing whatever you're doing because it's a lot of noise?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Let's see here.
Oh, yeah. Mute myself.
I see. One serve Tanya. We got Shiny. Now we just need the Glib show. Yeah. Thank you for inviting me back, Shiny, to be a guest on the latest podcast episode.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that Glib can't be here. It's really strange that considering it's a Glib show.
Maybe one day you can have a successful podcast like this.
If only. Can only dream. Is he, Chris Lee, morning LD chat. Good morning, Chris Lee. And we have Sushi Guy. Thank you, Shiny. He's personally thanking you, Shiny, for that suggestion. And let's see here. And Scotch, afternoon chat. Well, hello, Scotch. Welcome. Let's see here. Dandy Spike, aka Hack. It sounds like a construction work is going on over there. Kind of does. Let's see. Criminal Imagination. Early morning at the pub. That's how you know it's the weekend. When you wake up and go right to the pub.
Mm-hmm.
You're free to do that.
Do you know what pubs are, Litdev?
What are they? Oh yeah, no.
It's pretty much like a British bar.
Yeah,
they're just better in every way.
Pub games, pub food, all that good stuff.
Yep.
Well, all you get
ever seen Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the pub. The Winchester at the end. That's the good pub. It's better than your bars.
Yeah, it is. Because at bars you get drinks here, and then you might be able to get some peanuts or something. No good food.
There's just the atmosphere as well is so much better in pubs.
Well, let's see here. So check this
British tradition. Oh no.
Disney,
No.
Disney rewrites Battle of Hoth for the Star Wars Episode 5, the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary celebration. So they're going to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back by going ahead and, slitting its throat, just rewriting it. So let's see here. Disney and Lucasfilm continued their work to erode the original trilogy that they began with The Force Awakens. The first report by Disney Star Wars is dumb. Star Wars and Lucasfilm released a new animated Star Wars kids short that reinvents the Battle of Hoth first shown in The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, it's Galaxy of Adventures. I fucking hate that. I
Star Wars
fucking
Galaxy
hate
Adventures.
Galaxy of Adventures.
It's exactly what it is.
Oh god!
Let's see here.
Have you seen the clip where they rewrite the escape of the Death Star, where it just shows pretty much it just shows like Han and Luke being completely like idiotic and like they're just panicking everywhere, don't know what they're doing, and then all of a sudden Leia storms in.
No wait, I heard about that. Yeah.
And she fucking like starts blasting away. So anyway, she started blasting, and then she just takes control of everything and kind of implies that the men know nothing of what's happening, and it's all down to Leia. Like she did everything. So it wasn't a team effort at all. No, they didn't work together. It was all her.
So it's more like a
course correction to appeal to big dumb fanboys.
No, it was the opposite of that. It was the opposite of a course correction.
But in this case, it was trying to insult the big dumb fanboys, and Luke Skywalker and Han Solo were like the stand-ins for us big dumb fanboys. They don't know what to do. Got to have the Disney princess, to step in and save the day. But yeah, it is Star Wars Galaxy Adventures. Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars kids released the first of 4 parts. The retelling of Battle of Hoth. The short begins with a voiceover. The Empire Strikes Back as Darth Vader leads an attack against Leia's rebels on Hoth. Leia's rebels. It can't just be the rebellion. It just can't be Darth Vader leads an attack against the rebels on Hoth. It has to be Leia's rebels. Got to make sure that she has ownership over these rebels. Let's see here.
The Empire Strikes Back as Darth Vader leads an attack against Leia's rebels on Hoth.
General, there's a... That sounds very familiar. All of a sudden,
very familiar. That's almost like the guy still has his radio show. This time. Some particular admiral
part of the Empire, but the Empire still allows Admiral Yularen to have his fucking radio show.
Yeah, you got to have propaganda somehow.
That joke. That joke that we did while watching Clone Wars, no one here's gonna get it.
Oh yeah, what's his name? Admiral Yularen.
Admiral Wolf Yularen,
yeah. Because he sounds like he's the same voice actor who does the intros to the Clone Wars episodes where he does the little recaps. I just made the suggestion that what if Admiral Yularen is just like he's the radio guy? Like every time somebody they need to recap of the.
Let's just die. I thought you died there because you just went really silent.
Oh, I guess internet gas.
You just cut out.
Low. Internet gas is a little low, I guess. And let's see, go ahead and close like Discord and stuff.
I was confused, but I thought this guy really didn't like. He outright came out against The Last Jedi and Disney, so I'm surprised he did this. Like he voiced
the voice actor?
He voiced Admiral Akbar, and he was really not happy that Akbar was just launched out of a window. And like he had this rant on stage in the middle of Star Wars Celebrations, like, "No one to see Holdo, they wanted to see Akbar."
Yeah, that was true.
The interview, and they say, "No, look, we can't talk about this. Let's just go back to Clone Wars. Let's talk about Clone Wars." And the guy's like, "No, who wants to see Holdo?" And then the crowd was cheering. It's like you could visibly see on this interview his face, like,
do you have the interview? I think that'd be cool to watch if you have it with you, if you know where it is.
Let's see if I can find it. We can keep going over this until I find it.
Sounds good. Let me see here. Okay, got it. So, Proton Stalker, welcome, Proton Stalker. Awesome. Let's see here. Blue. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Blue. Hello. Let's see. Okay, so the Drake the Duelist. The one good thing about the Galaxy of Adventures is how it got remade into a bunch of anime openings by Forever Red 3000. Yeah, I saw those. Actually, saw those. They're really good. I thought they were really. I thought they were really well. I did really well, but I thought they were done by the guy who made the anime openings. But I guess they're just all pulled from Galaxy Adventures. But they're still really good. It's really interesting and hilarious because they look like they're ripping off anime right here. As you see here.
A fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4.
It's risky, but we can't hold out much longer.
I found it. So we'll keep watching this.
Also, can you link it to me in let's see, a private chat? That way I can upload it up here. I think I had to close this.
I want to see this
Yeah.
first though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
This is the re-upload by Smudboy. Okay, so what are they rewriting then?
Oh,
Let's see.
Echo Station 5-7, we're on our way. Set your harpoon, follow me on the next pass.
Give the evacuation code signal. And get to your transports!
Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops have entered... Oh, wait for me! Come on, come on!
So, it was like shortening it for right now. Let's see. Have you noticed any rewrites this yet?
Not that I can notice. Things like Vader blowing down the door with like the Force. That actually seems like a good thing, but I'm waiting because there's always something with these fucking Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. They can't hold it back.
It's always got to put Leia in the forefront or something. I'm surprised they didn't change this. Let me see if we can go back a little bit.
Where he drags her away.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised they didn't change this part.
Come on!
Give the evacuation
In fact, I'm surprised it wasn't Leia dragging Han away or something. Like Han sitting around not knowing what to do, and then Leia having to step in as a dumb man. Here, just let me take care of it. I can how what we saw the Star Trek Discovery yesterday with the guy trying to do something, and the woman just goes over and fixes it with one press of a button. Something like that.
code signal. And get to your transports!
Imperial troops have entered the base. Imperial troops have entered... Oh, wait for me! Come on, come on! Punch it! Get her ready for takeoff.
We're not going to regroup with the others. We're going to the Dagobah system.
In the Star Wars galaxy, every day.
That didn't seem too much of a rewrite, but I'm sure it'll explain here.
That wasn't too bad, but let's see here.
Like, it's something I could definitely like live with. I don't see much of an issue with it.
The first scene sees a rebel soldier then tell Leia, General, there's a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4. Leia responds, it's risky, but we can't hold out much longer. From the very beginning, the short is altering what actually happened in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Let's see. What actually happened is that a rebel soldier informs General... Oh, okay. So yeah, they're putting a Leia in a more prominent role here. Informs General Rekan of the Imperial fleet emerging out of the hyperspace. As you can see in the clip below, the soldier tells Rekan's General, there is a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of the hyperspace Sector 4. Also, there's the fact that it's Leia's rebels. It's not Leia's rebels. Rekan responds, reroute all power to the energy shields. Gotta hold them until all transports are away. Prepare for a ground assault. Because now it's Leia's rebels. Now she's the general. She's the general in charge. Instead of being one of the leaders and the diplomat, and having someone else be a general, like an actual general. It's Leia now. She's a general. Just like how she was the prominent figure coming into save the day with Luke and Han, not knowing what to do. Let's check it out.
General, There's a fleet of Star Destroyers coming out of hyperspace in Sector 4.
Reroute all power to the energy shield. Gotta hold them till all transports are away. Prepare for ground assault.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, that's a pretty big change. It's a pretty considerable one. So it's let me see here.
The Empire Strikes Back as Darth Vader leads an attack against Leia's rebels.
Leia's rebels. Like, she was not. There's not Leia's rebels here. They were just a rebellion. Like, Leia was not the leader of the rebellion. She was just part of it.
Well, I think she was very prominent within the rebellion, and she was like a very high up, but she wasn't like the biggest of cheese. There was Mon Mothma and Admiral Akbar who definitely outranked her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was outranked on Hoth too. I'm pretty sure there were generals and stuff.
General guy, yeah.
Yeah, they were not Leia's rebels. But they rewrote that so that she's the main. I think what they're really trying to do, as far as I've seen, they're trying to make Leia the hero of Star Wars. They're trying to rewrite history so that the original trilogy was actually Leia's story and not Luke's story. Because they hate Luke Skywalker for some reason. And we saw the last time that they're trying to feminize Luke because they really, really want the original trilogy to be led by a woman. And so now, like, we saw that picture of Luke when he's like laying down in the snow, and it looked like Leia. That was not Luke Skywalker. It looked like Leia. They gave him big lips and everything, like big feminine lips. Let's see here. Light Yagami. What if Leia is as powerful as SJWs claim she is, and doesn't need help from others? Then why did she get captured by Jabba the Hutt and become a sex slave until she killed him? Because that was written by a dirty, evil man. That's why. Let's see here. CWC Trixie. I miss topping over AT-ATs in Rogue Squadron games. Yeah, that was an awesome game. I liked Rogue Squadron. That was really, really fun. Let's see here. Yeah, but it was subtle. Like, we couldn't really tell on first viewing, but it was very, very subtle. But that's and you wouldn't notice if you hadn't had a close eye and knew exactly what happened in the original movie. But yeah, they're trying to rewrite history. This fits in lockstep with what they've been trying to do. Rewrite the original trilogy so that either Leia is the star of the show in the original trilogy, she's the actual hero, not Luke Skywalker, or they're trying to feminize Luke Skywalker so that he's like pretty much a woman, as we saw last time.
I think one of the things that I don't know too much about it specifically, but I also remember that Leia ended up giving the throne of like Alderaan to someone else. Like, that's why she's no longer a princess, and I can't remember if it's like before the events of Empire Strikes Back or like what happened. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it's even after the last year, but at some point she does just give up the throne.
Who would take it though? There's no.
She gives it to someone else.
There's
like
no
just
throne though. It's just blown to pieces.
Oh, there's new. I think there's supposed to be like new Alderaan.
A new Alderaan. Okay.
Yeah, like they just like the people who came from Alderaan just ended up settling a new world or something.
Let's see. So, yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. I wish that they would have shown us that a little bit because that'd been kind of funny.
It's supposed to be a reason why like she's a general and no longer a princess. And I think it might. I can't remember it. Not the reason I bring it up is I can't remember if it is trying to rewrite the Leia or not as a princess, because I can't remember if it's before Empire Strikes Back or after Return of the Jedi.
Let's see. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, but I still don't even know why they made it. I do know why actually. Why they made it Leia's Rebels, because they're trying to make Leia the hero of.
Yeah, so you do know. There you go.
Yeah, I do.
So
know.
we're gonna watch this clip that Smudboy is very thankfully clipped for us and uploaded.
Let's see. Go ahead and switch over that. Let's check it out real quick. Admiral Akbar. It should be pretty hilarious. You want to see Admiral Akbar? Let's see here.
Yeah, this is the same guy that does Wolf Yularen and a lot of the voices.
The radio show guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's check it out. It should be good. It should be very, very good. Thank you very much, Mudboy. Appreciate that.
Akbar now. I've been Akbar for about 6 years.
Okay.
Akbar
Okay.
now. I've been Akbar for about 6 years. And so it's like, the forest moon of Endor, woman, it's a trap. All power to the forward shield.
Yeah. Like that. That's awesome.
And I was
awesome.
not really thrilled about how they blew him out the side of the ship. I'm like, who's this Holdo woman? Nobody knows this. No one's invested in that. Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? If anyone's going to save the fleet, it'd be out. Oh, no.
All right, let's
Don't try to silence me. Disney's shill soy boy guy comes in and is like, no, stop, shut up. You got hold those a
The
woman.
crowd's laughing as well. You can hear the crowd laughing.
Let's watch this again. Let me rewind it a little bit. It was glorious. Not all heroes wear capes, chat. Not all heroes wear capes.
I'm like, who's this Holdo woman? Nobody knows this. No one's invested in that. Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? If anyone's going to save the fleet, it'd be out. Oh, no.
All right. I think I might clip that actually.
Who is she?
Who's Holo Woman? Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? Akbar is there. He should be the one saving the fleet.
let's just real quick. Let's talk about Clone Wars. How?
Yeah. I bet you want to move the Clone Wars. It's not the interview is not going to the way you wanted it to go, did it? The guy's actually putting out some honesty here, some actually good points. He's not shilling endlessly for how horribly his character.
This was live. This was live. They couldn't cancel this.
They couldn't. Fantastic. Just always capture him live. Just get him. Okay, Disney actors. Whenever you're interviewed live by these people, get him. That's where you can get him.
Get him. Get him, dude. Get him.
You can't stop you then. They can't stop you. Oh, welcome, Glib. Welcome.
Hello there.
I think because Glib is here, this is worth watching again. It's so glorious. I love watching it. Indulge us a little bit, chat. Indulge us a little bit, chat. We'll watch it one more time.
Akbar now. I've been Akbar for about 6 years. And so it's like, the forest moon of Endor, woman, it's a trap. All power to the forward shield.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I was not really thrilled about how they blew him out the side of the ship. I'm like, who's this Holdo woman? Nobody knows this. No one's invested in that. Who is she? Why is she saving the fleet? If anyone's going to save the fleet, it'd be out. Oh, no.
All right, let's. So.
All right, shut up. You're giving the game away. Shut the fuck.
Disney's show boy has to step in and silence this old man. Quiet. You're speaking out against party doctrine. Okay, you can't speak out against party doctrine. You're going to be sent to room 101. I'm pretty sure Disney has for employees who step out of line.
It's funny. This is one of the very first things that comes up when I type in who voices Admiral Akbar.
This is like being in the Chinese Communist Party or something. Like,
who's this Holdo woman?
Speak out.
Who's
this Holdo woman? Who is she?
No. Shut up.
Tom Kane just is brilliant. Like, he's a brilliant voice actor, and like he just seemed like a fantastic guy.
I think he's also Mr. Harrington off of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I can see what he's done. He's done a lot.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Like KH and Witcher 2. Good morning, LD. Well, good morning, KH. Welcome. Awesome to have everyone here. Let's see here. I see R Master DX. Hello, R Master DX. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, this is a fantastic clip. They caught him live. So if you ever find yourself in a Star Wars film and it was awful and you just destroyed your character that you spent many years of your life dedicating a lot of effort and the care into, make sure the interview is live. You can catch him. You can force him to do this stuff.
I put in private chat like his IMDb because there's so many fucking things he's done.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Insane.
He's been in a lot of stuff. Let's see here. All right, that was fantastic. I want to clip that after the show. I'll clip that. Second,
I still have to clip everything is racist.
Yeah, I'll clip that one too. I have plenty of room left. I want the clip where he goes, "Who's this Holdo woman? No one knows who she is.
Who is she? Who is she?"
This is so true. It's the truest part of what he says in that clip. Like, who's this Holdo woman? No one wants to see Holdo. No one wants their wine aunt to save the day. They want Captain Akbar to save the fleet. That's someone's aunt who never got married and who is really creepy around kids now. Okay?
Someone pointed out the Sisters of the Force banner behind him. as well.
Oh, was it over there?
Those are Sisters of the Force banner.
What is Sisters of the Force? Is that a Clone Wars thing?
No, Ozix. This is just. I honestly don't know. Oh, it's part of the Her universe. Ashley Eckstein's new collection, Sisters of the Force. The voice actor
Her universe.
Yeah. So the voice actor for Ahsoka Tano, Ashley Eckstein, has her own female-only Star Wars fashion brand or collection. She does shirts and dresses and handbags and all sorts exclusively for women.
Fashion. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay, that's fine. I thought it was going to like women like I thought it was like a fan service sort of thing, or like a alternate universe where just women were in charge or something. That would have been cringy.
There is a no, it's not that bad. That she has branched out to do some like clothes for men, but it's extremely limited, and it was only for the Clone Wars. So there was a Captain Rex leather jacket, and there was I think one for Maul, and there was some clothing items for Anakin and Obi-Wan as well.
Okay, that makes sense because it's fashion. That makes sense. Even and girls only fashion. That makes total sense. That's fine. I thought it was another political movement or something.
No. Ashley Eckstein is a little. She can be iffy sometimes, but she's mostly fine.
See, Christopher Cole, Holdo is the SJW admiral who can never be questioned. We're supposed to know what she's thinking and who is brilliant enough to win by destroying things. Yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure that Holdo is the Star Wars universe equivalent of Karen. Is Admiral Karen as on the bridge. That would fit so well. That would fit so well.
You're probably not gonna like this, but she did fashion. One was Holdo's dress. Another one was Rose Tico's jacket.
No, who bought those?
I don't know. I'm willing to bet that they didn't.
No one's buying Holdo toys. No one's buying Rose Tico toys except for Ethan Van Sciver, and just to destroy them. But no, other than that, no one is buying this stuff. Who is going to buy a Holdo's like burlap sack that she wears? Who's going to buy Rose Tico's burlap sack? I don't think there's a big demand for burlap sacks out there.
This was the Star Wars Celebration. So all this was designed before the release of The Last Jedi. This was supposed to complement it. So when it came out, they released this fashion to kind of say, "Oh, look, we're releasing fashion for this thing. Oh, because it's hot now. Everyone go buy it." And it turned out it wasn't that hot.
Are they the same people, by the way? Or is that just like a Patrick Willems thing? Are they the same people who did they put out a shirt called Star Wars is a movie about space wizards intended for children? Or
no, I don't think they have.
Or they directed by Ryan Johnson. Is that did they do that shirt, or is that someone else?
No, I don't think they haven't done that shirt. There's only show of writing I can see here is it's kind of weak, but it's never give up, no matter how dark things seem. And I think that's a quote from one of the Star Wars Clone Wars episodes.
Well, that's good. Because I never understood that directed by Ryan Johnson shirt. It's an actual shirt directed by Ryan Johnson. I have no idea why you would wear a shirt telling everyone you're garbage.
I think it's by Patrick Willems himself, or at least someone has done that. But this wasn't done by Her universe.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, at least if it's Patrick Willems...
It was only the really shitty Rose Tico jacket and Holdo dress.
At least if it's Patrick Willems, I guess that's actually kind of him, because at least it's letting everyone know with his shirt that he's literal garbage. There's also like a hat called that says directed by Ryan Johnson on there. Like, why would you tell anyone that?
I think we can all agree that the most magnificent hat is Dave Filoni's hat, and you can't disagree. Actually, no, maybe Cad Bane's is like a close second.
Oh yeah, Cad Bane has an epic hat.
He does.
Let's check it out, chat. Let's see here. So let's check out this fashion. So here we go. Her universe honors Sisters of the Force and new collections at Star Wars Celebration Chicago Chicago exclusive. So here's a shirt that says Tano on it.
Yeah, that's Ashley Eckstein herself wearing that.
Let's see here, and this looks like it's one of those. You ever read that Star Wars Shakespeare line where they redo all the Star Wars movies, but as Shakespeare plays.
No, I haven't seen that or heard that at all.
That's what it looks like. That's what the kind of the art kind of looks like on there. This is a what shirt is this? What is this?
Let's see if I can just get a closer look.
Is that Ray? But
I think it's definitely Ray, but I'm trying to see what it says.
On the back, never give up, no matter how dark times seem. Here's this. What is this now? Is this Holdo's dress?
That's Padme's lake retreat.
Oh, Padme's lake retreat. There it is. Tano.
Oh, it's like
Tano's
a motorcycle motocross jacket right there. Like the Ahsoka could, whatever her name is. It looks like a motorcycle jersey.
Oh, here it is.
That
Leia's cape coat. Here's Leia's cape coat.
I like that. That's not too bad.
It looks pretty good. It looks like something you see on a fashion runway, actually.
Kind of thing I've seen in my basement.
Here's Rose Tico's army jacket, though.
Yeah, I want that. That's what I want. I'm gonna deliver Ethan a pie with that.
Why not have this for men? This is like a man's jacket.
It's a real manly man's jacket.
Exactly. Here's Holdo's dress. This is like it'll be on a. That's like a rom-com looking dress. Like you see this from the main character or something.
Rom-com.
Before she lets down her ponytail and takes off her glasses and instantly becomes very very attractive.
Sweetie, those shoes do not match that dress. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. This is a dress before the person like breaks out into their real selves.
Yeah, exactly. This is like the dress the librarian wears to the dance, and then you go, "Why are you wearing that dress? Why don't you show off your whatever?"
This is the kind of the dress the wine aunt would wear in the same movie, that the one that always comes around to put down the main character so that she has a low self-esteem.
It really is. She just needs a purse. Like a
Exactly. Like maybe a literal wine glass in her hand, maybe a smoke.
Also found the clothing line for it's like the Clone Wars clothing line that she did for the release of Clone Wars. It's kind of cool.
Let's see, is it in the chat? There it is.
Yeah, it's
awesome. We'll get to that in a second. Hatch440 SX, very much too. Appreciate that. Morning hail chat and Liddy D at work. Oh, fantastic. Well, I'm glad you're listening to this at work. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for that. Now let's check it out here. Let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen and we'll move on to the next one.
Alrighty.
Check it out. Is it up here?
Damn it, someone's fucking using a saw outside again.
Let's see here. Sure. Sure, it's someone else is using a saw. Totally not me, guys. Totally not me. Totally not me chopping up my clone body. From yesterday.
The clothing line is actually not bad.
Got up here. All right. Here we go. Here's I guess this is from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, so these are the voice actors themselves. So you have Captain Rex, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Padme, and Anakin.
So Anakin's all the way over here, right? Okay.
Yeah, Anakin's all the way on the right. So it says Skywalker on the side.
There it is, Skywalker. And this is really good clothes because it looks like normal people can wear this down the street, and that's really what you want to aim for. Maybe except for this one, but it still looks good. But you can tell it's R2D2. But they all look like things you can actually wear every day.
It's not R2D2.
It looks like R2D2.
That's
Rex. It's Rex.
Yes.
So I mean, it still works then.
Yeah, Brie Bradley Baker does. He voices again. These are all the voice actors, and D. Bradley Baker voices Rex.
Yeah, so it works then. It looks like normal stuff. It looks like normal clothes you can wear every day. That's good. That's always what you want to aim for. See, Christopher Cole, Holdo, why are you wearing that dress? It's a perfect attire to fly a heavy cruiser into a Star Destroyer. Exactly.
Those clothes, man. You know, it's funny. It's like the outfit that people, the kind of things that people want to buy are the things that are either in the universe or look like they take the same aesthetics, but they fit into the street world.
There's another one as well. This was Maul, and Maul's looks it's actually pretty fucking sweet. This one.
The Chekhov's antler says, Shiny's trying to saw through the chains in Ellie's basement.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what's going on.
Like, they did a really fucking cool mall jacket I put in private chat as well.
Let's see. Okay.
Hello again. Sorry.
It's good to cover nice things.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Sorry, I had to duck out for a second.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Hadn't missed too much yet.
Oh, good.
Well, this is pretty nice. The Darth Maul on the back of here.
That's not too bad.
Oh, that is awesome.
Not too bad.
I would wear that.
It looks really good, actually.
You know, I think that's missing a hood. That's the biggest problem. You'd think
that that'd actually be pretty fucking good with a hood.
And
like you can put that up and fucking pretend to be a Sith.
I'm a Sith Lord because I spent $50.
Ah, lovely. Oh, lovely. The chat's welcoming me back. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it.
Don't welcome him. Don't encourage him, chat.
No, Shiny Elder doesn't want you to cut through the chain. He wants you to cut through your feet. Oh yeah, like it's saw.
no.
Yeah, it's not that saw is not strong enough to cut through the chain, Shiny.
But it's strong enough to cut through your feet. Welcome
Oh,
to the
boy.
Ocean Devil's house of pain.
It's not a house. It's fucking again 10th level hell.
Yeah, exactly. 10th level of hell. Right, you're right. You're below Satan, like the real Satan. Below freezing, you might say.
Well, yeah. If we have time one of these days, we got to cover a Dragon Demands video. I think that would be very informative. I think Glib, I think, would definitely like it.
Like what?
The Dragon Demands. He goes into the behind the scenes of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I've been watching a bunch of Next Generation and Deep Space Nine just to like catch up because I watched the Picard thing and just to see what I missed. Like Deep Space Nine is so good. It's just so good.
It's my favorite one. Yeah,
It's
absolute favorite series.
But I have to say, and this is what I've noticed because I watched some TOS and then I watched the Next Generation. You need each previous installation to get to the place that the next one's at.
Yeah,
I have never watched at least I've never properly watched TNG, and that's probably going to be.
I think
I don't mean you
DS9
have to watch it. I just mean you have to make those 100 episodes before you can get to Bashir and Dax and like all these really complicated.
And as a viewer, you can watch DS9 and without having watched other Star Trek series, and you can get it. You can get what's going on, but in order to get like the full taste, the full flavor of what's actually happening, it's nice to have the experience of TNG under your belt because there's lots of history of the Romulans and maybe TOS too. A lot of history of the Romulans and the Klingons. And the Cardassians and stuff, so it's really interesting, and they really flesh out the Cardassians in DS9, but they have been introduced in TNG as a kind of some sort of backwards race, a little bit. Like they were behind technologically speaking in from the Federation in TNG, and somehow they kind of caught up by the time we get to DS9. But the first the Cardassians, the little neck things, were actually modeled after Mark Aliamo because he has really strong neck muscles.
Yeah, he does. I was looking at that.
So that's why they have those neck things. And Mark Aliamo was the first Cardassian he did was pretty much Ducat with a mustache, but it's not Ducat, the other guy. But I think they made it canonical that guy was actually a cousin of Ducat. He was actually a cousin of Ducat. And the thing about the Cardassians is they have that fascist sort of mentality of having a gigantic families. Because if you read Nazi history, one of the things they really wanted was for their assistants to have big families, huge families, and that's kind of what they did with the Cardassians.
I love it. I love the Bajorans and the Cardassians. I love that they're not the typical Star Trek races. I love that.
Yeah, a lot of gray morality between both races. They're not hats. Because DS9 stays in one place and is able to give proper time and attention to different races, they'd stop being hats and start actually being fleshed out into actual races with good people, bad people, good mentalities, bad mentalities, good morals, bad morals, that sort of thing.
And then Cisco sounds like the black version of Literature Devil sometimes, which I think is hilarious. This Bajoran vessel is hailing us. Wonderful.
Yeah. He's good. He's got a really sexy voice, I imagine.
It's always over the. It's like hot chocolate. It's just like it's always perfectly hitting the tone, and it's great after Picard because Picard is kind of like this very reserved character, and then Cisco is like relishing the fact that he's gonna mess with somebody. I love that.
Yeah, I love it. He's awesome, and then he likes to play the bad guy sometimes. So he goes in that infamous episode where he's fighting the Maquis. And he goes, "Let's go ahead and douse that planet with poison."
It's like, okay, he wants me to play the bad guy, so I'm going to play the bad guy.
I love it.
Yeah, might as well. He plays a really good bad guy too. And it's awesome. I think ever seen have you ever watched SF Debris? That he's not a YouTuber. He has his own site now.
No, I haven't seen that.
He's really good. He does Star Trek reviews, and he covers Janeway. Like he's really famous for his coverage of Voyager. And he points out how like tyrannical and evil Janeway is.
That's why I didn't like it, but I think I want to watch it now. Like I think I'm old enough or something to just like sit down and deal with Janeway.
There's some.
I've said this before. I said this before, and I'll say this again. The thing is that Voyager had so much potential. It literally had limitless potential. But there are certainly ideas there. It just never got to flourish. Like it never got to, because let's say the Equinox. The Equinox is, it's a good episode, I guess. But it could have been so much more. But it's just filled with Janeway like moral grandstanding, and just like, oh well, how dare you kill these creatures to survive? Your ship's fallen to pieces. Your crew's half dead. And you think that gives you an excuse to survive?
It was mainly disappointing because the Equinox should have been the Voyager. Like what the Equinox
Yeah.
was dealing with should have been what Voyager was dealing with, and the infamous Year of Hell should have been the entire series, not just 2 episodes.
There's one episode of Enterprise where they're stranded, and they need to attack a friendly vessel to eventually regain their warp drive, and to go out and actually save their world, because obviously Earth's going to get destroyed by the weapon. And that difficult decision for Archer is more difficult than any decision Janeway had to go through in Voyager. And she should have been put in these moral situations where, in order for her crew to survive, she has to do something bad. Like Cisco had to do bad things in order to bring for the greater good, in a sense.
The Pale Moonlight.
In the Pale Moonlight is one fantastic example of that.
That's like the crux everyone goes to point out the gray morality of DS9, because he tells a story. It's fantastic, and he's recording it all, and then at the very end, it was brilliant. Like a computer delete log or something. It's awesome. So he's just wanting to confess it all, because at the end of the day, he can live with what he's done. But at the end of the day, he's still a guy who's very, very moral, and it is troubling him. But he can live with it. He can live with it. It's just something that's not easy to live with, but he can do it because he's Cisco. He could do anything. He punched out Q, and then Q never returned. and then that episode of Siege 5 whatever it is.
Oh yeah, Siege. Fuck, I've already forgotten the name. I know what you're on about.
Yeah, he before he goes down. Like he doesn't die, but he goes down. He's there to help fight the Jem'Hadar, but he takes out like 4 or 5 genetically engineered super soldiers by hand before he goes down. That's Cisco. I don't see Picard doing that.
Well, I was watching one of the Picard episodes yesterday where he's Dixon Hill and he goes into the holodeck and he gets stuck in there. And when he has a gun pointed at him, he does this like kung fu move, and I was like, "Wow, Picard can fight and like disarm people." Like, okay,
yeah, a little bit. He can.
I guess he's not that. He kind of is badass, but you never see it coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not
he's
like
supposed
Cisco.
to be. As part of this backstory as Picard is that he's the reason why he's captain. This actually is explored in an episode with Q, making him go back in time a little bit, as that Picard was actually this hot-headed, like a really, really loose cannon type of guy, and then he kind of became more disciplined over time, because the Picard was supposed to be Kirk. Picard was supposed to be Kirk, but older and more wise and more able to think before he acted. But then they kind of replaced him, and they wanted a new guy, and eventually became Picard. So Picard was supposed to be old Kirk. So he kind of had that backstory built in, that he used to be this loose cannon Kirk type of character, and that's how he became captain of the Enterprise. And it goes into where he goes where Picard goes back in time, and he doesn't do this one thing that gave him an artificial heart, was where he decided, no, I'm not going to fight this guy. I'm going to do the right choice and not take the brash action. And he ended up being like a science officer on the Enterprise instead of a captain. He got where he was by with like all of his mistakes, all of his brashness was what brought him to the rank of captain. So it wasn't just it wasn't just the good parts. It was also the bad parts too, or what he would consider bad. Let's see here. Christopher Cole, DS9 is Dark Trek, that still remains hopeful. Exactly. That's exactly what Christopher Cole. It did what Picard wanted to do, what Star Trek Picard wanted to do.
Like, so Picard and Discovery, they're both trying to be really edgy and dark, but Deep Space Nine already achieved that, and Deep Space Nine does so much to subvert what you believe of Star Trek when it does stuff with the Maquis, when it does stuff with the Jem'Hadar. You think that human beings aren't capable of this. You're supposed to be evolved beyond this, but there's people who aren't living in these perfect conditions, and you can't be a saint. It's easy to be a saint in paradise, but they don't live in paradise.
Exactly. One of my favorite Cisco quotes: "It's easy to be a saint in paradise." I love that one.
But it's still true to Star Trek, no matter what. Like it does. They always make sure that it is hopeful, that it's bright, that it explores something.
Yes, because the heart of Star Trek is that at the end of the day, there is hope in the galaxy. I mean, there's hope in the universe, and that's the heart of Star Trek, is the hopefulness of it. No matter what happens, no matter what darkness you've come from, like how the violent the human race was before the Vulcans came. It's you eventually there is hope at the very end of the day, and that's and DS9, no matter how dark it got, remained that hopeful. It kept that hope alive. Star Trek Picard did not. I don't know about Discovery. I'm pretty sure it didn't, because I haven't seen that travesty of a show. I have seen Picard though, and it didn't. What it didn't do was keep that hope alive.
No, not at all.
It was it was hopelessness. Well, the other characters kept hope within themselves, but it was the heart of it was hopelessness and nihilism. Yet again,
when Deep Space Nine has darkness, it has darkness for the purpose to explore and to look into deep moral conundrums and questions, and again, what things about identity and humanity. And when it does go dark, there's a reason for why it goes dark, like the siege of AR something 9 or whatever. That is dark, but it has a purpose for being dark.
Yeah,
and it has a nice end.
And the reason why it was so good is because it actually got a guy from Vietnam, a guy who experienced Vietnam, to consult on that particular episode.
They also have Will Robinson.
Yeah, they do. Will Robinson's always fantastic.
Apparently, no, it's the guy who played Will Robinson in Lost in Space.
Danger Will Robinson.
He played one of the characters, and one of the producers of the show came to the set so that when that character actually dies, he came onto the set and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have killed Will Robinson," and everyone just started clapping.
Yeah.
Danger Will Robinson. Let's see, Christopher Cole says that when Sisko meets Picard, he does not mince words. I was at Wolf 359. Wolf 359. And it looked like he was going to knock out Picard. It kind of, it did. He wanted to quit Starfleet.
Yes, because he lost his wife last time he saw Picard.
Yeah, and the last person he saw was Picard's face. Yeah.
Totally understandable.
It's Picard's face that announced the attack and everything. It was Locutus of Borg.
Interesting.
The episode Tapestry shows that Q isn't a villain; he's an antagonist to Picard, and what he does is to ultimately grow Picard's character. Yeah, that's what Q kind of plays to Picard. He's not a bad guy per se, even though he does some questionable things. Q is he's just there to do exactly what he says he's there to do. He's there to test humanity, and Picard is kind of like his representative of humanity.
Yeah,
because he's so moral and everything. And see, Barry Bend, if I had to rewrite Discovery or set a show to replace it, I'd make all quiet on the Eastern Front, but Star Trek. Now that would be interesting. All quiet on the Eastern Front.
all
That'd be kind of
quite
interesting.
so like on the edge of two, like something that would predate the Bajoran and Cardassian type thing, like what that situation was, or a
Like
battle
maybe following
sequence.
someone like what was his name? Bro O'Brien, like an O'Brien kind of character, a guy who went through war and all that stuff.
How about
All
Star
his
Trek
friends
without
died.
humans?
That's what I kind of want. I really want Klingon. I want Star Trek. I want Star Trek
Wait,
Worf.
Like
why are people talking
Klingons
about
and
Ruby in chat? What was?
no talk about Ruby. That doesn't exist. Don't know what that is. We're busy talking about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, a final
Sorry.
frontier.
Sorry,
Engage.
Sorry, I can't add much to this particular conversation. I know very little about Star Trek.
No, it's okay. You guys got to watch it though, or else
Yeah.
you're bad people.
One thing
can't be friends.
I'm very sorry, but I have no interest in Star Trek. I am very sorry.
That's fine.
Well, you're not coming to the future. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not allowed in the future.
My brain is firmly in the past of fantasy. I apologize.
You're gonna be gate kept out of the future.
Gate kept out of the. How dare you?
But just
I'm
something
okay
that I
with that.
thought would be interesting in Deep Space Nine would be so you have these two godlike entities within Star Trek. You have Q and you have the Prophets,
And you have Cisco.
I wouldn't. He's the emissary, but I would like to see like the more interaction between Q and the Prophets, because it would be interesting to see these all-powerful beings, rubbing in, not getting along. Because you could definitely do a lot with that. There's lots of opportunity, but the problem is that they got scared about using Q after it didn't work too well in the first episode he was there.
I think Q got scared of Cisco after Cisco punched him out and floored him. But yeah, that
punched me. The card never punched me.
And then he tries to do that online Twitter thing where it's like, haha, I got you guys, I got you, and then like pretending to be like laughing about how they got owned online. It's like, yeah, I just triggered all these fanboys. That's kind of what Q did. Like, Picard never punched me. You're gonna be far more easier, far more fun to mess with. Never came back. So much for that. Cisco's would be far more easier to mess with. Line that he dropped at the very end of that, before he vanishes, wiping the blood off of his mouth. Yeah, that'd be very interesting to see Q and the Prophets kind of interact, because they kind of have the same powers, don't they? They can do pretty much the same exact things. See, John Doe, Quark. I love humans. They are the kindest, most generous people you'll ever meet. But take away the technology they surround themselves with, and they get mean and nasty. Exactly. That's what I liked about Quark.
And they become mean and nasty as any bloodthirsty Klingon.
Yeah, they take away the creature comforts. They become really mean and nasty. That's what Quark was there for. He's supposed to be the guy we look down on. He's supposed to be the guy that we always look down on because he's greedy. He likes money. He's selfish. He likes to try to swindle people. Odo's trying to put him in jail. But thing is, he's also there to commentate on other people. Like he's his own set of morality.
Yes,
he's not
he
an
does.
evil person,
and he makes good points. All of them make really good points. That's my favorite part about Star Trek. It's like you have to. One of the messages of Deep Space Nine is that you kind of have to uphold your morals and uphold your convictions, even in the face of opinions that you disagree with, for the sake of your principles. It's a stand instead of being able to go out there and explore wherever you want. You're stuck in one location and you have to stand up for yourself or find another way.
Exactly, and that's what the whole Voyager series is about, with Janeway trying to use her principles to get them back home. But thing is, it was really strange because she stranded them there in the first place, because they wanted to protect this race that was basically at an evolutionary dead end. Like they was the weirdest race anyone has ever come up with. They're like, there's only 200 of them. They live for like 8 years because they age really rapidly or something.
Okay, so you've got a crew of 200 people versus a society of about a few hundred.
And there was no like great society that they were protecting. They basically were a racial equivalent of the guy living in the parents' basement, living off of the parents' stuff. They were like living off the caretaker.
They were more like pets to the caretaker than anything. Like they've been provided with a kennel. They've been provided with food and water.
Yeah, the Okampa. That was what they were called. The Okampa. It was I don't know why. And the whole series starts because Janeway wants to protect them from another race that is just horrible. It's just the with the Curzon or something like that, and they can barely function themselves. I don't think they're really protecting
The
them
Kazon.
that much. The Kazon, that's what it is. The Kazon, and they kind of function with like a more a less developed Klingon species that can barely function. They operate like on the level of people who use like nomads and stuff. Like they're like old nomads from like the Stone Age, but with spaceships somehow. And like the Okampa, they do nothing. They just wake up and live out their 8 years of life and produce in the weirdest way possible. With the they have the female Okampan has like one time in her life where she can have a baby, and she has to like have her feet massaged until her tongue swells, and then all this other stuff happens, and she has to like go upside down and give birth that way somehow. And for one child, they cannot sustain the population that way. Like they can't grow it. They can maybe sustain it. But they can't grow it. They surely can't grow it. And they just live on like Taco Bell meat and just walk around and do nothing.
It would have been pretty interesting for Janeway to have to deal with the so she sacrifices the Okampa in an attempt to get Voyager home again, and it fails. And it would be pretty good to have Janeway go through the guilt of these people's lives ending because of what she decided, and that would have been interesting. That would have been something that Janeway could struggle with for a long time, and she has to keep struggling with these hard decisions between her crew and other people.
Yeah, and also I think there was a point in the first episode, The Caretaker, where she could have people have been arguing this that she could have easily used it to use the machine or whatever it is to get her crew back home, and then blow it up after she's used it to save the Okampan or whatever. And she didn't. She just blew it up so that we can have a show.
She took it and she threw it on the ground.
Watching these shows, it's science fiction never really gets the budget that it deserves, and it's always the sets that suffer the most. The sets just date horribly compared to everything else.
Oh yeah.
Costumes, they can look goofy, but then like you can just your mind can be like, yeah, people in reality wear goofy costumes, and aliens and stuff like that. But usually costumes don't need that much money to look good, just a lot of talent and stitching and time. Because most people when they buy clothes, they just buy them off the rack, whereas you actually get somebody that can dress you in front of you. You know what I mean? So there's all those details and stuff, but the sets always have little identifiers that make it look totally like outdated, like things that are plasticky looking that should be metal, and chain link fences in the future. And I see it all over the place and all sorts of stuff, like school benches and tables that you would see every day in like middle school or something, or in Star Trek Picard, which is bizarre. But it's always it's the sets first that I notice looking like they're terrible, and then the makeup.
Yeah, the makeup. And I remember I was hearing something along the lines of like the first episode of DS9. If you look closely, they didn't have the right makeup and the right parts for Quark, so they gave him like Rom's nose. Like he has Rom's nose in the first.
In the first one, yeah, you can actually see the lines where the latex glue is kind of like the edges of it if you look close enough. And there's a couple costumes like that, but I just had to say it's the sets, then it's the CGI and like all the graphics. Like the pilot episode looks so horrible in for Deep Space Nine as far as CGI goes, and it makes you go wonder why they haven't remastered it by now. I'm surprised that there's not a bigger push to remaster the CGI and stuff for old television shows and that kind of thing, because it actually was successful, I think, for the original series.
Pretty sure George Lucas owned it. He would do that.
He would. I would too, though, because some of it really just takes away from the presentation. Not like Odo's CGI, his transformation, it doesn't look that terrible, but like looking out the window at the space, it looks bad.
I say, John Doe, have you heard of Voltaire's bi-trek 8-year-old song based
By
on the
Trick.
Beach Boys. John B. Screw the Ocampa. I want to go home. No, I've not heard that. Sounds good though. Sounds like it'd be awesome. Sounds like it'd be awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. Yeah, the DS9 remains one of my favorite Star Trek series because of all that, because of all the gray morality it has in there, and how at the very end of the day, despite all the terrible things that happen, it still has a message of hope because it goes to the darkest of times, and then they end up winning at the end.
I feel like I went, I understand that there are people that are more Star Trek or more Star Wars fans, but I can't see not being a fan of both. And like, I feel like I'm a fan of everything that's good. And then it just takes me a while to get around to liking some things. You know what I mean? Like Farscape is kind of hard to get into, that kind of thing.
I enjoyed Farscape. It was pretty good show, but it's not as easy to get into as Star Trek or Star Wars is.
No, of course not. And that to me is the big question that keeps coming on up to my mind when I'm watching these things. Is like, why is it that Star Trek or Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica, Stargate, like some of these shows, they do certain things that make the audience like forget about certain aspects that may not look as good. You know what I mean? Like you look at the Klingons and you go, wow, they look really goofy. But for Star Trek fans, they all know instinctively that that's not that goofy. It's like filtered out,
Yeah.
like the outfits that they wear. It's hard for some people. That's not cool, It's the rule of cool is not working for Star Trek, but it works enough for a certain set. And then Star Wars, it's the same thing. It's like if hardcore sci-fi science types are not going to like it if they stick to that mentality. And I just feel like a Swiss Army knife where it's like, just, sometimes I feel like Star Trek, sometimes I feel like Star Wars,
Yeah. It had two totally different flavors there. So Star Wars gives you something different than Star Trek does. Star Trek gives you some a deep dive into morals and interesting scenarios, while message of hope. While Star Wars gives you a very fun. It's supposed to give you anyway a very fun space adventure. Two different flavors, two different ways to go, but both very good in their own way. But I found the song. Let's see if we can play this without YouTube taking us down.
Oh joy!
Let's see here. Lucky Jinx, welcome, Lucky Jinx. Hey everyone, I am fuming over payday game devs agreeing with H3H3's actions. Both he and Keem are scum, but H3H3 can get away with it for some reason. So I'm here to relax. Also, nice background, LD. Oh, thank you very much. I think I'm going to release this. I think I'll release this comic today. Later on today, I think I'll do that because it's finished. Did you see the comic clip?
Which comic?
I put it in the Smudboy chat, but yeah, it's a one page. It's a one page.
The completed one, right?
Yeah, I put the completed one.
Of course, yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited. I don't want to see any more of it because I want to get it.
I think I'm gonna release it today. I released it to everyone today. Everyone, obviously, the members already. Members of the channel, by the way. I got a sneak preview of this page I'm going to release today, and so did my subscribe star backers also. So they got to see it already, but I'll release it today. I think people like Doomcock and all those fandom menace people. I think they'll like it especially.
I fully expect a signed copy.
We were in the Badlands one day, chasing Balana and Chakotay. We were whisked into the Delta Quadrant, fuck, that's far away. I wanna go home, please let me go home. Listen to him. I say screw the Ocampa, I wanna go home.
I like it so far.
The caretaker had an array that could get us home safe, but Janeway, that ignorant slut, she blew it away. I wanna go home, please let me go home. No one listen to him. Drop me off at a wormhole, I wanna go home. So now I'm stuck here for years, in the Delta Quadrant I fear, with the Kazon and Hirogen Imagine a brother with pointy ears. Sing what? I wanna go home.
That's enough. I think this is just in case we get taken down. We want that to happen. But yeah, that's pretty accurate. I like it. Pretty sure that echoes the sentiments of all the crew on Voyager. You know, until we get to that episode where they have to abandon Janeway because she got sick, and they go back. All the crew want to go back for her for some reason. Like, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the case. Pretty sure they'd be celebrating that Janeway is left behind. Drake the Duelist. Star Wars feels more human, honestly. Trek feels very sterile. It does in comparison. Yeah, it does.
I could see that.
Because it's supposed to be less human because, well, that's what we consider human. That's why there was actually a whole drama about Roddenberry not being very, very hard to work with because the writers need things to work with interpersonal drama, and he didn't want that. Roddenberry did not want that.
It's for nerds. It's how nerds think. It's like if a whole universe was just for the nerds. Like, oh, I'm super concerned about science and figuring things out. Look at this asteroid. It's an ancient thing. And then Star Wars fans are like, ha, lightsaber. I'm like, yeah, I like both, man. I have that imagination. I can transition. I always felt like my favorite universe, had a lot to do with whatever age I was in. So I had a whole 40K phase where everything was grimdark, and I just wanted to smash demons and have, jump packs and all that stuff. Like, it's great. I love that all these things exist, and I wouldn't want to restrict it.
Like bashing demons and having jump packs and all this. It still sounds awesome. I like that.
Oh yeah.
This is a good question, actually. Occupational Army. Why didn't they just ask Q to bring them back, which they had plenty of opportunity to do, and Voyager actually ruins the Q. Like if you like Q as a character, so you could skip the Q episodes on Voyager. It really adds nothing and just ruins his character.
It's true. He's a limited character. He should be used very sparingly because there are too many, I think, world changing things in Star Trek a lot of the time. Too many throwaway episodes. It's funny how you can go from one TNG episode that's like really juvenile almost and kind of basic to the best episode of the series or whatever. Like that kind of juxtaposition I see all the time in Star Trek.
And sometimes it's kind of just jackknives and something incredible. Like, oh, that was a good episode. What's the next episode? Oh, Measure of a Man. Awesome.
Exactly. It's hit and miss in such a weird way that you can kind of go in and out of it whenever you want. And I don't know. That's why it's interesting to watch these Clone Wars episodes and think about it. Stuff that we've been doing off chat doesn't know about that. It sucks that we can't stream that, Shiny. That would be interesting.
Yeah, because they're fun, but we can't stream it because YouTube will snipe us down from the heavens immediately.
Exactly, immediately.
Let's see, Barry Bend. If you want some nonsense, look up Harmony Gold's copyright shenanigans with SDF, Macross, and BattleTech. I remember that. It was a long time ago, wasn't it? Remember that? Hearing about that some I think a year ago or so. Maybe something like that. Let's see here. But what I do have right now is the main course of today's Morning Nonsense, which was supposed to be going over the script of Bitch Planet, but I forgot. I don't know where the link went. I don't know if I saved it. But I did. But to make up for it, I went ahead and got the first issue of the comic book.
Oh dear.
So what we can do is go over that. So let's see here.
Cool.
And by the way, Chad, if you weren't here, Bitch Planet is the work written by this lady.
If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Oh yeah.
That lady. She's the one who wrote this comic book.
I honestly would advise SJWs to totally buy my book, if only to see the reaction.
Exactly. I mean, I want them to buy my book. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And the more they cry about it, the more, because they're going to give it a bad review. They are. They're always going to get a bad review. It's just only going to help you. It's only going to help you. That one cardinal in the Young Pope says, he goes, why did you give an interview to a guy who hates you? Because that's how you grow your fame and infamy. Like your critics help you grow significantly. Tyler Preston's a Razor Fist. Razor Fist explored Bitch Planet. Interesting. So here's number one. I like the tagline. Are you woman enough to survive? Girl gangs gagged and enraged. It doesn't like exploitation, but like targeted towards men. Are you woman enough to survive? Let's see. Let's see. It's one of those things so it's being edgy for the sake of being edgy. Like it's trying to
Oh
be
God.
like this is not a middle finger towards a planet. This is a middle finger towards a dad. Take this, dad.
Dad, I hate you, Dad. Look
Exactly.
at me now. What are they? It's seeing the Image Comics logo. It's like that Godfather meme. It's like the guy that massacred my boy. Image used to be pretty cool. It used to be like the alternative. It's either Dark Horse or Image. You know what I mean? If you want to be semi-independent, away from Marvel and DC, and now it's just like SJW dumping grounds.
Yeah, your boy Zach used to do. He used to put Jawbreakers in Image. I think Image used to publish Jawbreakers or something like that.
Wow.
But he doesn't need them anymore.
No, and I'm glad. I'm glad that that's the conditions, because it's like, I think I foresee with all this TV coronavirus BS or whatever that's going around, for whatever is happening for real. What I see happening afterwards is a lot of Comicsgate style programs to get everybody back into like, because like industries, man. I have this conversation with my dad all the time, and he's in this conversations with all sorts of producers and stuff about what the business is going to look like. Who knows what's going to happen next? So I see a lot of opportunity for people that are already in the public sphere to have the ability to get funding for their projects. And I think a lot of people are going to be tired of the previous. So hopefully we get some good content out of it, and we won't get so much Mags Visaggio junk from the mainstream people distributing stuff that nobody wants to buy, which makes no sense to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're kind of waking up, but it's a little too late. It's a little too late for that to happen.
It's too late for them. Omae wa mo shinderu.
Exactly. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. Like the industry has changed, for better or for worse. We will soon see. But a lot of these, I think DC and Marvel have sought out alternatives to diamond distribution, so it's no longer like a monopoly anymore.
Exactly.
So we'll see where this takes us, and we'll see what happens. And with DC seemingly moving away from its 5G movement, which was supposed to be like putting Marvel to shame in terms of wokeness, they're going to have like everything imaginable under the sun, replacing all their main characters with everything imaginable under the sun. AT&T said, no, don't do that. You can't afford to lose one single dime. Okay, Jim Lee, you do that, we're going to cancel you. We're just going to shut down DC Comics. Okay, you got to do things that make money. You can't take gambles on things like 5G.
Yeah,
do things that make money.
Just do it. Just be money making people. And then they go, but capitalism's wrong. Like, well, how did you get the job?
Yeah, you know what? I don't care if you think capitalism is wrong. You better do
Course
that.
correction to appeal to big dumb fanboys.
Or you're getting fired. And that's the only alternative you have. Either embrace capitalism or get fired. And they did. Jim Lee came out and he did that charity drive where he made sketches for top dollar, like thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Capitalism in play. Critical Imagination, Thing, which is 2. I swear, I've even seen that title in sci-fi hentai.
Sci-fi hentai is the good stuff, though. That's the actual creativity.
That's where the real pornographers are able to run free. And so, check this out. And check out his antlers. Look at all that fuchsia. Look at all this bisexual lighting. It's colored fuchsia. You know, it's so woke. The whole thing is this fuchsia.
Bisexual lighting.
And the characters are just there due to the negative space. Everything else is just so fuchsia. That's how woke it is. It's all bisexual lighting.
Yeah,
even her hair is fuchsia.
Somebody in chat just put in like futa for no reason, like futanari or whatever, and I just find that amazing. It's like
that's the Neko Speak also, the Neko Speak emoji. I have that. I'll go along with it.
Well, it's just funny to me because like I feel like hentai and stuff is way more out there and zany and progressive than any of the SJW stuff. Like they and it's the community of people that have sexual degeneracy or proclivities or whatever you want to call it.
They're
However you
very
want to say
inclusive.
it. They're very that was my point. Thank you. They're the most inclusive.
The most
They
inclusive.
want people to join their orgy or whatever it is.
The Aura Master DX, capitalism is the devil. Thanks for the super chat. Yes, hello, Marxist 572. Capitalism is evil. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Karl Marx. Hello, Joseph Stalin 457. Thank you very much for the super chat. $10 super chat. Awesome. Capital is evil. Thanks for the super chat. I love it. I love it every time. Barry Bend. If you want fun and engaging semi-hentai series, watch Ishizoku Reviewers. Oh, is that the Interspecies Reviewers? Is that what it is? The one that got canceled and pushed everywhere? Let's see. Okay, so let's check out this comic book. It's a middle finger to the planet. First page. Let's check it out. Earth has immediate weight loss stuff. A weight loss ad. Less of you to love. Less of you to love. So it's like a, I don't know, like pushing up fat people, I guess. Because you could lose weight, but it's less of you to love, obviously. And excuse me. And some ladies going through the crowd. Okay. Let me put this in perspective real quick. So, the first image of Alan Moore's Watchmen is the smiley face, the Watchmen smiley face, getting soaked in blood. Okay. And then you have the Killing Joke is the first panel of the Killing Joke is rainy and dark. A rainy and dark panel with nothing there. Just a shot of rain collecting on the ground in a dark scene. And that's also the very last panel. Connecting together the fact that to Batman, to Batgirl, to Barbara Gordon, it was one of the most traumatic nights of their lives. Like a Joker had one of the most traumatic nights of his life. But to everyone else, it was Thursday. And so that first panel of the Killing Joke tied into the hidden message of that story that you can go through the most horrible thing in all of your life, but just most other people, it's just going to be the regular day. It's going to be a regular work day. This first panel of this, some lady walking through the crowd saying, "Excuse me and pardon me" on Earth. Interesting. Alex Halo, thank you for 2. Purple is color of the devil, fruit, eggplants, NEV.
So I have purple. I'm wearing a purple thermal shirt right now. What does that say about me, Alex?
It's bisexual lighting, obviously.
I'm bisexual. Guys, I'm coming out. My sexual orientation is bisexual lighting.
Exactly. So it's a warning sign. Warning sign. As long as it's not fuchsia.
Fuchsia. Oh God, fuchsia is like redder.
Yeah, the fuchsia is the fuchsia is the color of social justice.
Does anybody here own anything fuchsia?
I do not.
Nope.
No, me neither. I think that's wow. I think guys, we've discovered the most SJW feminine color is fuchsia.
It is. It's fuchsia.
Keep that in mind.
It's just a fancy word for pink. It's just a fancy word for pink.
It kind of looks like this. All kinds of pink and fuchsia on the cover here. Just to let you know how woke it is.
And
Take
yellow.
that.
Yellow is like the most hazardous color too. It's like
be careful, guys. Be careful, guys.
You want to pump out more soy boys that look like Will Wheaton? This is the inevitable result of all of this. This is where we're going. This is why we fight so hard.
That's what it always reminds me of. More soy boys look like Will Wheaton. We'll pump out more fuchsia. Fuchsia's turning the boys gay. Let's see here. Fuchsia is turning the boys soy. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First page. Let's see here.
Which is why I don't put soy boys in my books.
Let's see. Neko Taito. Bisexual lighting really just straight lighting that wants attention. That might be accurate. Who knows? Let's see. So she's running through the crowd, panel after panel, running through the crowd. I'm so very sorry. She's not there. No. She's got 10 seconds to walk through that door before I read the damn thing myself. 10. May I squeeze through here? So he's really, really running late for. I guess he's reading some sort of announcement. He's going to this. He has an inhaler. Gotta have a weak man in there. Where he's this. I don't know why they have him with an inhaler and is having to dedicate all this stuff to it. Like, is this going to be coming in later in the plot? I hope so. It's the first page. It better be. 5. Whoop. I give him a vulnerability. Look who decided to grace us with her presence. I'm so sorry. Who am I this time?
Oh gosh.
History teacher. They'll play in loops on the ride so the NCs can hear it while they sleep. We go in 3 and 2 and 1. It's on the first page and the second page. Okay, that's first page. So the beginning of the first page is her running through the crowd, and then the first page is. Let me get here. Ending of the first page is saying, "Okay, we're about to go in 3, 2, 1. Go where? And 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Oh, here we go.
Oh, mother.
Here we go. John Doe. Pink is just another name for not green, according to the minute physics. Awesome. Let's see here. Lucky Jinx. I'm just noticed the obey meme too. Was it in the comic book, or is it just now notice it? Let's see here. So Mother Earth stood. Mother Earth we used to say before we understood Mother Earth. Okay. Before we came to know the heavens, to live here, and to feel her warm embrace. Space is the mother who receives us. See?
What?
Earth is the father. Space is the mother. Earth is the father. Okay. Are we the seed then? And your father has cast you out. There it is. There's the father hate.
All right, it's official. I'm in hell.
Look at the fuchsia. Look at more fuchsia, more pink, more bisexual lighting here. Let's see here. This is gross. Let's go ahead and skip past.
Alex Tar H Lobo said WTF. My sentiments exactly, friend. My sentiments exactly. But which is the womb?
Which is the womb? Which is the metaphorical womb? It's like there should be at least 10 in here, right? Should be at least 10 wombs. 10 metaphorical wombs. Let's see here. There's a lot of like grotesque nudity in here.
It's very odd.
I don't think there's any metaphorical wombs. There's a bunch of literal wombs on the screen.
Let's see here. I'm gonna go back here.
Yeah.
Reload it. Sometimes Comixology isn't all that great with anything really.
I did put a couple of the better Dragon Demands videos in the Smutboy chat if anybody wants to check them out.
Cool.
This kind of reminds me of. Let me put back up here. This kind of reminds me of that one prison show. What was it called? Orange is the New Black.
Hmm.
I'm not even sure we can show this on YouTube.
No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
But no, it's perfectly fine. Anybody that sees that will see that it's perfectly fine. I'm just going to say it for the sake of argument. But wow,
yeah, I'm glad I didn't pay for that. No. I could borrow it for free.
Yeah.
When you're covering these SJW NPC comics, never work out too well because they're always so awful.
Why are these people idiots and untalented and abrasive and annoying
I
and
think
horrible?
I think that it has to do with
something in the water.
No, well, yes, that's always true. There's always stuff in the water that's turning people gay, but I feel like people that are in this echo chamber have the exact same like personality type, and they're all told that they have to be within this echo chamber and they have to do certain things. So all their creativity just gets sucked out of them, and they just start issuing out the commands of whatever their ideology is. It's really disappointing. It's like you suddenly find out. You know what it reminds me of? K-pop fans. They find their favorite K-pop band, and then suddenly everything's about K-pop.
Right.
Everything's done through the filter of K-pop, and that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me about the Star Wars lifestyle clothing and stuff. Even though, like, I bought when I was younger, like a stormtrooper sweater. I thought that was all right. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I like the Boba Fett sweater because it's like, yeah, I'm just, I'm wearing something kind of goofy. But when it's all complex and complicated and added up, or you're like cosplaying in general or something like that, or your everyday is consumed by this stuff, I think it's a little too much. And they're consumed by their very real ideology, which is worse to me than somebody who's just like spends all their time downstairs building a train set or is building, Lego versions of scenes of something. That's cool compared to what these people are doing. You know what I mean? Somebody who makes a Minecraft world of Hoth. That's cool because it's creative output. This is like religious texts for trying to get people into the ideology or something. It's very weird. It's like a pamphlet.
That's what we call it. That's what we call them NPCs. They all think the same thing. They all have all the same opinions, and they all say the exact same things. They all hate the same people. They all act the same exact way too. That's why we call them NPCs. They're all pre-programmed copies of one another.
Yeah, just like all of them like The Last Jedi, and then a bunch of them, most of them hated Joker.
And
the only exception, yeah. Well, like Jack Saint for some reason liked Joker. I can't remember why. I watched this video and I was just like, "You like it? Really?"
It's grounds for termination in the NPC grounds. Let's see here. That's why I call them NPCs, because they all think the same way. And if you look at the writing, they only really know how to write about 3 or 4 personalities.
Yeah, because it has to all be from one thing.
They can write themselves. They can write their best friend. They can write someone they're protecting, and they can write someone they hate. Those are the 4 personalities you know how to write. And let's see here. But I have a backup plan just in case the comic book was too much for us and that there was too much cringe for us to handle. I have an oldie but goodie video if you want to cover that. Sure. It's a good old Patrick Willems.
Yeah, buddy.
It's good old Patrick Willems. I'm pretty sure we'll burn up the ire of everyone in the chat. I think it'll be some delicious nonsense. There's always a backup plan, chat. All the best villains have a plan B. So
there you go.
Well, and there's always Plan C. My plan.
Take over the world.
Let's see here. So it is "Shut Up About Plot Holes" by Patrick Willems.
Oh, here we go. Alrighty then.
This is an old one, but I have yet to cover it. So I think now that we're all here, I think we all have an opportunity to give it some coverage and expound on how we think about plot holes.
EFAP style,
exactly. So let's check it out, chat. Let's check it out. We're about to be watch out, chat. Okay, be settled in. You're about to be blown away by the genius of Patrick Willems. Make sure I got it all the way up here. There you go.
Okay, guys. We got to talk about plot holes. Used to be this thing that only existed.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't know why, but every time I see Patrick Willems, he always comes off to me like a Patrick Bateman type.
Patrick Bateman. That's Patrick Billums.
Yeah, Patrick Willems.
My name. I live at 41 Garden Street or whatever in New York City.
I kind of want this now. Patrick Willems.
I'm 32 years old. I believe in a balanced entertainment diet. I love The Last Jedi, even though it's for a Space Wizards movie for kids. I have a YouTube channel. I have what is it like? I can upload over 20 videos a year. You know what I mean? Like, I
in the morning. I have a very strict uploading routine. I have a very strict video uploading routine.
Yeah, I have to go upload some videos. That's his version of it.
I could do over 1,000 now.
People. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. He's like, I have 100,000. What is it? I really care about my subscribers. I have 100,000 now.
I have 100,000 now.
Sorry, I'm back.
How much does he have?
At times, if my
God,
is getting low, I'll release a shitty videotape.
I come back and I see Patrick Willems' face, and that's not something I want to see when I come back.
You ready to let out some aggression on the Patrick Willems video?
Let me just get my fucking rage serum here. No, it's called also known as Marmite.
Market
your Marmite, gentlemen.
Market 3D, thank you much for the 400 huffs of internet gas. Invite Mahler Rags and sad face.
Yeah. Poor Wolf. I miss that man.
Wolf is doing good, I heard. So don't be too sad. Yeah, last time I heard Wolf was alright.
I'm more sad that like we don't get, because I followed Wolf since like the very beginning, before Mauler like came up, before I followed Rags, and like it's more sad because we don't get to see him or his content, but it is good that he's doing well.
Yes, I mean at least he's been doing better. It's one of those things where if you're on the internet for too long sometimes, and it can affect the way that you think, and you got to disconnect from it. But I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows what the future holds.
I see Tyler Person, thank you much too. Appreciate that. I thought Pegston Poulter was Patrick Bateman. No, but he's more like Buffalo Bill, in my opinion. He's like he's a creepy guy who just like obsesses over people. Yeah, I think that's more like Buffalo Bill.
Yeah,
I don't get a Patrick Bateman vibe from Preston Poulter. Anyway, let's check this out. But thank you very much for that, Tyler Preston. Awesome.
In super nerdy movie conversations. Like, hey, how did Indiana Jones survive clinging to the outside of that submarine? But over the past 15 years, they've become pervasive, spreading through online movie conversations. Everywhere you turn, people are complaining about
biggest plot holes.
You can't complain about plot holes, chat. That's you're a bad guy if you do that.
Here's the thing.
You can't.
Plot holes
here's the
don't
chair.
actually matter.
Here's his chair, and you shouldn't complain that this chair doesn't have legs, or that it only has 3 legs, so it keeps falling over. You shouldn't complain about that. There's big glaring issues. I understand where he's coming from a little bit, because the word plot hole has kind of been overused to the point where it's kind of lost its meaning, but it still has a meaning, and people can still point out to say, hey, look, here's an issue with a story.
I mean, if you think a chair with too big of a hole in it, people react to it, the same way people react to movies with big holes in it. Take a dump inside of it, because what is a chair with a hole? It's a toilet, right? I mean, you don't want a chair with a hole in it. You don't want a movie with a bunch of holes in it. And yeah, there's some plot holes that are worse than others, because you can look at a movie like a ship, right? If you have a hole in like the floor, but the deck, then it's not really all that bad. But if you have a hole at the bottom of the ship and it's leaking in water, that's pretty bad. Okay, so a hole in the deck, yeah, it's bad because you can trip on it. It can hurt you or something. But it's not that crucial. It's not all that terrible. But if you have a hole in the bottom of the ship and it's sinking your ship, then that's a plot hole you really want to concern yourself with.
Plot holes. All the plot holes.
Plot holes.
Plot holes.
So full of plot holes. Plot hole.
Naruto plot holes.
So many plot holes.
Plot holes and movie plot holes.
They're everywhere.
Back in April, when
So plot holes are like sand, I guess. It's rough and coarse.
False and rough.
And they get everywhere.
Oh God! Save us from the potholes in the story, and the plot holes in the road.
Save us, Patrick Willems. Patrick Bateman. Save us.
There's actually a very amusing thing from Tyler Preston. What was it? I'm sorry for comparing Patrick Bateman to a cuck.
That's one thing. I don't think Patrick Bateman is. That's one thing I don't think he is. No. Preston Poulter, however, on the other hand, that's what he is.
In American Psycho, everybody's cucking everybody. That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. And Patrick Bateman doesn't even care. Like, I'm fairly certain that that Evelyn and Anthony Bryce is the only are having an affair. He is the only interesting person I know.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. He's like, he even gets it. He's like, he's interesting. Well, whatever. And then he just shifts discussion. He's like, but I don't really care because I'm having an affair with this woman.
Yeah,
Usually
with
he's on 2 or 3 psychiatric drugs at once.
so I think it's Xanax.
Yeah.
No, yeah, something like that. It's fantastic, and Bryce is actually pretty interesting. He's actually a really good character.
Yeah.
He's doing good. I think that Bryce is the guy. They go into the club, and the guy's like, "Excuse me, I'm trying to do drugs," and Bryce's like, "Shut up." He's just high on cocaine already.
Because he's roidy. He's got roid rage because he's doing roids too.
He's doing steroids and cocaine, so he's pretty aggressive.
That's what we need. We need Patrick to be on steroids. That'd be more interesting.
Yeah, he needs a friend that's on steroids and doing cocaine.
And has any masculinity.
Yeah, and named Bryce. It has to be named Bryce.
Especially since Sage Hayden or Just Right isn't supplying any measure of masculinity, even with that friggin' beard. Sage Hayden is one of the most effeminate, masculine-looking men I've ever seen in my life. It's really disconcerting. Like, the cognitive dissonance is amazing.
I mean, Will Wheaton has a beard. He's gonna have a soy boy thing to have a beard now.
Yeah, I
Kind
guess.
of ruining it.
This restaurant is for chicks. They don't have a good bathroom to do cooking.
Yeah, they don't have a good bathroom to do coke in. He's just mad because the maitre d' wouldn't give give him head.
Why can't we get into Dorcia? Because it was
Bateman.
give the maitre d' head.
Yeah, exactly. And he tosses that straw at him, and that became a meme.
Yeah, they give like a upvote meme. That movie is so memeable.
Let's see, Market 3D. We must spread magic to call attention to the plot holes.
Oh gosh,
Patrick Willems meme. Call attention to plot holes.
I'm debating on what to do with Patrick on my evisceration in fiction list.
I don't actually dislike him that much. He just says a lot of junk. You know what I mean? He's not like a malicious person. He doesn't go out of his way to talk crap. In his videos, he does a little bit of that. Like he tries to like go, look at this guy. They're so stupid. But that's not as bad as like, Movie Bob being like, I want to decimate the earth of all of the people that ever wronged me.
Yeah, we want a nerd masterpiece and stuff.
If it wasn't for bullies, we would be in the fucking 24th century.
Exactly. It's like it's because the people that played football in high school that used to make fun of me, they're the reason why we're not in space. I should be on Mars right now with a jetpack. It's like no, that's not the way that it works.
That's how that works. How come you didn't do that, Movie Bob? How come you didn't invent jetpacks and stuff? What were you doing?
Me back.
Or like Jack Saint and Eric Taxon, where they constantly misrepresent people.
You did it again. It's Patricia now.
Patty
Chan.
The mind of endless soul.
Yeah.
Oh god. Like all I did was say hello, and all of a sudden she just said, "Oh, this whole like paragraph of shit."
Yeah.
You're a bad person. You associate with evil chuds.
Chudcast.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're a bad person because the people you're associated with. It's like, well, I guess I'm already in that hole.
I'm not a bad person.
I've already
named our crimes. What have we done?
I can't talk to anybody outside of our religion. It's just like Scientology. Thank you for intersectionality. It's great.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we're not. I don't think we're bad people.
I don't
think we're bad people. I think we're the worst people, right? We're the worst villains ever. So,
literally, literature devil, literal devil,
and literally Hitler, and
a cowboy that just shoots people.
Let's see here.
A place opened, my Twitter and Facebook feeds were filled with people complaining about all the plot holes. I saw one guy say he'd made a list of 41 plot holes in that movie. But here's the thing. No one seems to actually know what a plot hole is.
Nobody knows what Y-Wing is.
Stupid. It's like, okay, but you know what we can do? We can look at the definition of what a plot hole is, which is generally when something is just straight up conflicting. That's what the layman's term definition of plot hole is. Yes, people overuse the term, I'll admit, but that doesn't mean the term doesn't have a meaning or a definition.
Shall we go with structural flaw?
Subjective.
That's just your opinion.
I could see like a Phoenix Wright sort of meme saying objective or subjective.
Oh, yeah. That's an emote on the smaller Discord.
It's a definition. It's the definition of a gap or inconsistency in a story that goes against the flow of logic established by the story's plot.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, some things are really some plot holes are worse than others. Some are fine, so we can have in there and kind of go with the flow on it. But some of them are
Not-
just movie breaking.
Not all plot holes are created equal.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there are like tiny chinks in the overall structure, and then there are foundational breakages. I think that's fair to say. Like, for instance, in Batman and Robin, for instance, with Mr. Freeze's entire plan of coming together with Poison Ivy makes no sense because they have radically different goals.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that's an example of like she's plant-based and she wants to bring the world back to plants and he wants to freeze the whole world.
Yeah, different goals there. You can't really have a plant thriving society with luscious jungles and stuff when it's frozen over.
Sounds like
So-
a plot hole to me.
Yeah. Nobody will disagree that Batman and Robin is a bad movie. It's one of those like universally accepted bad ones. Kind of like not even like the serious like DC fanboys who love Batman v Superman will say that Batman and Robin is good.
It was the best gay superhero movie ever.
Well, it was directed by a gay man. I didn't see any gayness really happening. I just saw male gays all over the place.
Was it the movie with the bat suit nipples?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the movie with the bat nips.
Yeah.
And the
Though
belt, the bat crotch.
yeah. Though honestly,
sexy George Clooney.
Though honestly, he frames Uma Thurman very, very well. Like Uma Thurman looks great in that movie up until the end. And at the end she looks terrible. The pink outfit is the worst in the movie. That was terrible.
There's something for everybody in Batman and Robin.
Yeah, there is.
It's just not something you necessarily want.
And if you like Arnold, there's plenty of Arnold in there. There's plenty of Arnold doing Arnold things in there. It's awesome.
Yes. The Iceman cometh.
Would cure the dinosaurs. The Ice
The
Age.
Ice Age.
Let's kick some ice.
Stay cool. Yeah, that's
Stay
awesome.
cool. That's the best one. Yeah.
Stay cool.
Everybody
Cool.
chill.
Everybody chill. Lol.
And that's also the movie with the Bat Credit Card too.
Oh,
That one's Batman Forever, I think, right?
No,
Is
that's
that also Batman and Robin?
He wants to use a credit card to buy Poison Ivy.
Oh
to
my
buy a
God,
date
it
with
is.
Poison Ivy.
He just
To
pulls
buy-
it out. He whips it out, doesn't he? It's George
Yeah.
Clooney. Oh, I forgot about that.
I never really back about it. And then because Robin is trying to outbid Batman with Batman's money, with Bruce Wayne's money, so he whips out the Bat Credit Card to beat him with it. And see, Nico Taito, best plot hole is the Jimmy Neutron why they can breathe in space.
Yeah, that's actually but that's crazy cartoon logic on the level of Transformers bringing a planet on side with the moon.
It's funny because one of the characters asks Jimmy, he's like, "Hey, why can't we breathe in space?" And then Jimmy's like, "Oh, okay, I'll tell you and explain it." And then as he's saying it, then the fat kid starts going like, "Spoon, spoon, 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 spoon." It's just like you can't hear what the
address
explanation
it.
is.
They actually address it, but they
Yeah.
just make fun of the fact that who cares? It's a cartoon.
It's the exact same thing with Rick and Morty. It's like, yeah, Morty, we're being really smart, but actually we don't give a shit. Fuck it, fuck it.
Believe it or not, Rick and Morty does not actually increase your IQ.
Yes, it's an intelligent cartoon for people made by people that are just plain stupid.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Unless you go to the fans and they kind of break down how apparently intelligent it is, where you need to know like the quantum physics to get the deepness of the jokes in that show. And I'm pretty sure you don't.
Did anybody do that with Futurama? Like, oh, it's for nerds, so it's super smart. Like, no,
They did
everybody
it
can
with
get into it.
what was it? The Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
Like
but Big Bang Theory's stupid.
It kind of is, yeah.
Oh, you're not going to enjoy this unless you have a very good understanding of thermal dynamics.
Yeah, like like everybody. That's what you want to do for a show meant for a general audience, or for an audience at all, and not for an audience of like 5 or something.
I mostly kind of just like what is it? Big Bang Theory to spite Pop Culture Detective and Alex Shaw of School of Movies. They get so much wrong about that show. Oh yeah, he hates it. Like he's made 2 videos on it. Like I think one of them is the adorable misogyny of the Big Bang Theory, and then the geek masculinity.
Geek masculinity. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, he claims that it's like kind of douchey and kind of rooted in kind of the not ability of geeks not to show any kind of weakness or whatever. It's mostly because like Jonathan McIntosh, like I don't use this phrase very often. Well, like I don't use this to describe like people very often, but he is the classic definition of a soy boy. He's like the soy boy archetype. It's kind of ridiculous how well Jonathan McIntosh seems like he was genetically engineered in a lab to fit that definition.
By the Illuminati, of course. He's the guy who wants to he's trying to make weakness heroic or something.
Yeah, and self-sacrifice toxic. If you recall his very, very bad lies regarding The Last Jedi video.
Well, they really like these NPC types. They really like to pick on geeks and nerds because geeks and nerds they see as easy prey, and geeks and nerds tend to easily bend the knee to them for some reason.
Yeah,
they just let them run them right over, and so they make a nice fleshy foothold in there. And geek culture.
You want to watch some of his videos sometime? I think it'd be fun.
Maybe next time. Maybe for next time.
Yeah, great. I'll post the link in the chat.
I think Willem's over here will give us enough for today. enough
Probably.
nonsense for today.
Yeah, let's try and get through this. I don't know if we will at this point.
Lives. And all those plot holes people complain about, they don't actually matter. So, what is a plot?
Yeah, they do.
What is a plot hole? Let's see here.
Hole. People's definitions vary, but here's the generally accepted one that I use. A plot hole is a point in which a story breaks a previously...
No, we don't care about you. We care about, what's generally accepted and, what the definition is. You can pull up Oxford Dictionary. You can pull up fucking Google and go use that one. I'm fine. Don't make up your own fucking terms for them.
Oh, he has to. He's going to tell us what a plot hole really means. What it really means. Okay. We've never learned. You don't really know something until Patrick Willems explains it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Established rule about its own universe. Basically, it's when a story contradicts itself. Okay.
There's a little bit
here's
more to it.
What are not plot holes.
And he proceeds to be wrong.
Market 3 days. Damn, Patrick, stop stealing Ellie's library. Yeah, it's my library. You can't. We said you could come in. Okay, Patrick Willems. You said you could film here.
Get the fuck out of my house!
Let's check it out.
It's like, I'm in Let's Lab's library. Broom.
You're probably in the same room Patrick Willems was right now. He desecrated that area with his Willems.
Oh God.
In The Dark Knight Rises, we never see how Batman gets back to Gotham City. That's a plot hole.
One of the earliest cinematic developments was the concept.
He's going to say montage. I've seen this video. He's going to say montage, but it's established that his bank is broken. It's established that even if he escapes the hole, there is no way back to Gotham. But he ends up getting back to Gotham in no time at all. That's not montage.
Well, he's Batman.
That is
he's Batman. But you could have just simply had him. Maybe he spends a month.
That was in movie 2 in The Dark Knight.
he spends a month like going through the desert or something. Doing. So I don't care. It doesn't have to be in a desert, but you can have him, eventually reach some kind of society and get a phone and call someone, and maybe that someone gets him a plane, and that would be a lot better explanation than just all of a sudden he's in Gotham and all of a sudden he has, all of his bat suit and all of a sudden he has everything.
And someone said there could be like a whole movie because it could go over how Bruce Wayne got from the Lazarus pit back to Gotham. And it could be pretty fun.
And the most insane part, which makes it the least believable, is that it happens so quickly. In no time at all.
Because he is on a time limit. Like that thing is going to the bomb is going to go off in Dark Knight Rises. It's like that nuke is about to go off, and he has to get there in a relatively short amount of time after his escaping from the Lazarus pit. So we'll see what Patrick Bloom says.
Of montage. The idea is that when two images are presented in sequence, the audience understands that they occur chronologically and will mentally fill in the time between scenes. So for instance, if a person is in one location and the next scene they're in another location, we understand that in between scenes they traveled between the locations. Movies tend to assume that the audience is reasonably intelligent.
But
I guess they're wrong.
Children.
Reasonably intelligent. Okay, there is a difference between expecting a reasonable level of intelligence and saying, "Here, fill in the plot for me because I am too lazy to figure this out."
Mm-hmm. It's like you should say we're not intelligent to watch these films now. Dear God,
you're watching movies wrong, guys.
You're not only watching movies wrong, but we're too dumb to understand films, and apparently we don't understand the idea that when you cut between two scenes, you're supposed to believe that you don't need to see the guy go out of his car, go up the elevator to his office. You can have him leave his car, and then you go in the building, and then he goes into his office. Yeah, that's fine. That's what we all understand. I'm pretty sure 5-year-olds who have object permanency can fucking understand that. That's not the issue here. You just completely misunderstood the issue.
Yeah, the issue is he has no funds. He has no transportation. He's in the middle of butt crack nowhere and has no way of getting to Gotham. He's halfway across the world. This is utterly ridiculous. This is a giant stretch of plausibility. I guess maybe if he was found a way to hitch a ride with the smugglers, but how did he frickin' pay them? That's my question.
He's I guess he just flashed his smile and said, "Oh, hey, welcome aboard, Bruce Wayne." Sounds good. Sounds plausible. We get nothing. It's a pretty good plot hole. It's a pretty good plot hole. We get nothing. He just kind of just appears in Gotham again somehow.
All of a sudden, he's there. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this, but he's there.
He's there. All right, come on. There we go.
If movies showed us every single second that happened during the span of the story, they would be 40 hours long and really f***ing boring.
No! No.
This is completely wrong.
No. It would be 5 seconds. It would be like 5 minutes. It would be 5 minutes to show how he got there.
No, but what he's saying is that it would take 5 hours to watch a film because you have to watch Batman crawl across a desert or whatever before he gets to Gotham.
And I don't think anyone's asking for us for the show like every single second of his journey.
Yeah, we're not asking for fucking Birdemic.
We're just asking for like a few scenes of him getting out of the pit, maybe wandering, maybe almost dying, and then seeing something that could connect his escape from Lazarus pit to how he reasonably got to Gotham.
Like, I don't know, maybe you could set up one of his friends or just someone who's, looking for him, that's trying to help. You know how Iron Man, he escapes and it's, his roadie and the military is looking for him because he's important. You could have just easily had someone looking for Batman. And God damn, I need to close my window again. But yeah, that would have been a simple fix. That you could have made the film work. and that's not the issue. Isn't montage. The issue is not we don't have object permanency. Fucking git.
Yeah, well, Patrick Williams. That's a weird argument to make. Like because we want to see a little bit more of that that one section in Dark Knight Rises, suddenly we want the whole thing. The whole thing. We want to see the entire section of Bruce Wayne wandering through the desert or whatever and finding his way through it, and finding his way to civilization, finding all that stuff. We want a whole other movie between his escape and him arriving in Gotham. No, we don't. We just want 1 or 2 scenes that we were able to connect logically from one point to the other. Because without that, we get nothing. We get okay. How does Bruce Wayne get there without money, without funds, without influence? He just kind of shows up, and it's kind of been established that this is kind of even if you escape, not really all that good chances of survival. So how did he survive? Let's see.
The world shall never know.
I see. John Doe wasn't 24 about every second minus commercials, and I recall people love that. Yeah, I really like that show, 24. But it is about it says it's done in real time.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure they include the commercial time. I'm pretty sure they do. It's part of it. I think they do. Let's see here.
There are so many plot holes in A Quiet Place. Oh, it's such a great movie. I mean, like, why did they decide to have a baby? And why didn't they just move to the waterfall?
Oh, this is the one that really drives me nuts. Movies are, for the most part, about human beings, or at least characters who think and act like human beings. And you know what human beings are not? Logical.
No.
This is
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Patrick, you fucking plonker. Oh, you human beings are logical. It's like, no, okay, yeah. People don't act logical, but you know, it's logical to assume that if you punch someone in the face, they're going to get angry. So there's still a level of reason that people, you know, sometimes emotion can cloud someone's judgment so they don't do what's in their best interest. But there's still equations that it still makes sense. Like, it makes sense that if I insult someone, they get insulted.
Yeah.
That's logical. That's what the fuck is the argument?
Okay.
What is this? Human beings aren't logical.
Okay, so here is the issue. I have not seen A Quiet Place. I am not even remotely interested in seeing The Quiet Place. It just sounds like it's stupid from how Wolf described it. Basically, he is saying that because they had a baby and are making the shelter and are not near the waterfall, which seems to be safe, it's not a plot hole because they're not logical. Even though there are aliens that are killing anything that makes sound. That's why the whole dang movie is in sign language. Why are they not near the frickin' waterfall if she's going to be screaming her head off while having a baby? Why not have birth control?
No, but I can maybe forgive the child because obviously human beings, they have urges, and that's understandable. And maybe birth control didn't work. Okay, that's a possibility. Fine, but there's no possible way to explain why the fuck they don't just live by the waterfall because they know it's safe. So what's the problem? Why can't they just be there? That would make sense, and that's the problem. The film doesn't make sense.
How come his argument is that people aren't logical? Well, people can be illogical, but people are also pretty logical. I mean, they can be both. People are not just 100%. 100% of people are not 100% illogical 100% of the time. Okay, people go off of logic quite a bit, actually. So I don't think being illogical, the excuse that people are illogical or that people are just stupid. I don't think those are very good excuses at all.
Yeah, it's like that is like if you are living in a world that has frickin' aliens that will kill you if you make a noise, you're going to act in your best. You're going to act pretty friggin' logically. You're going to be trying your butt off in order to make sure that you don't die. and especially that your kids don't die, because kids are stupid and make tons and tons of noise.
And yeah, especially a baby as well. So ignoring, the screaming while having given childbirth. The thing is about babies, the general baby sound is that they cry. So it's pretty much a death sentence to have a baby.
And whine and make all sorts of complaints.
Hell, there was a little kid who was dumb enough to fucking put batteries in a truck again and turn a toy on that led to his death. So what do you think is going to happen with a younger, dumber baby?
People are impulsive. They make choices based on emotion. Not everyone thinks exactly the same. And also,
some people can. So it depends on the emotion. So, for example, if you're in love with someone, if you hate someone, you might act logically because of that emotion overwhelming you. But in most cases, when you're not right now, where there's no, you're calm, you're fine, there's no emotions possibly clouding your judgment, no biases, you're gonna act a lot more logically, that you can, because your mind isn't clouded by these by certain emotions. Not
and what emotions would we be bringing into the situation of A Quiet Place anyway?
The thing is, people, the whole, when you act on impulse, people act on emotion. It's actually something that, if you're masculine, that's something that is part of the whole tenet of masculinity, that men don't do that.
Well, it's like
real adult men don't do that. They don't
exactly.
They as that's what it goes back from the soldier days. Like, you get male stoicism. That's what's from. You have these emotions, but you keep them buried and deep. That's what the whole NPC thing is going on. Men need to let out their emotions more. It's because male stoicism is a thing. Men don't always act on impulse. That's part of the whole thing about masculinity. Now, not even some women don't. Okay, not even women always act on emotion and stuff like that either.
And it can often be a good thing to be unbiased.
Yeah.
Even if you hate someone's fucking guts and you want to punch them in the face, you make sure you're unbiased. And it's like, okay, look, if I punch this guy in the face, it's gonna make things a lot worse. So I just need to stay calm. I need to stay unbiased, and we need to, think through this logically and not make things worse.
In fact, it's called being mature. Actually, it's called maturity, emotional maturity, where a kid will be impulsive, a kid will be crazy,
stupid.
Patrick Willems is applying himself to these characters, and obviously he's not mature.
No, he's not. He thinks the giant alien cow thing that Luke milks is one of the best additions to Star Wars as a saga.
That sounds like a troll to me.
Yeah, to me,
yeah, that's a troll for sure.
He's obviously trying to troll, but still, it's such a weird thing to say, and
it's utterly ridiculous. Like, it's stupid.
You're watching movies wrong.
You're just watching.
That's just your opinion. That's just your opinion.
You know what kind of people these days actually do what Patrick Williams says they do. Act out of emotion, act on impulse, just lash out.
Please tell me who is the people?
These NPC weirdo types, these SJW types. Those are the people who act out of emotion and things like that. Those are the people who are illogical, not normal, mature people. Okay, I brought up male stoicism firstly because it's the thing that they always bring up. It's a tenet they always harp on, is that male stoicism. And it's a big thing. It's a historically documented thing. But in general, it's just adult maturity, adult emotional maturity. Normal people do not always 100% of the time act out of emotion. Now, sometimes they do. Even if you're very mature, you might do that on occasion. Sometimes your guard is down. Sometimes you're at a bad place. But if you're a mature adult, okay, you don't always act out of impulse. We have logic in there to temper it.
Yeah, and you are not going to risk the lives of your kids. That's the worst part. If he was just being a jackass with the life of his wife and unborn child, that'd be something. But he's got 2 kids. One of them's deaf. That's not the time to be acting with impulse. That's the time to be acting with, we are going to put every single self-preservation measure into place so that we do not all die. That's
That
so
would make sense. That would be the thing that you do that makes sense. But the things about movies is that they're not logical.
It's just not logical.
In a
Oh,
film, things have to be more like people seem to get confused that a film has to be completely accurate to real life, but films, what people seem to forget is that films are in fact artificial constructs. They have to
Yeah.
work logically for the viewer to follow along. You can't just have things that randomly happen. Yes, while you can have certain things that that can happen in real life that are a total possibility, do not always work for a story. It's an illusion of reality.
Yeah.
It's not actual reality itself.
When I was watching a literature course for the great
Mhm.
courses, it talked about how you can't really make a real person when you write. You can make a close approximation of a person, but a person is too complicated to fully make and put into a book. You can put a snapshot of a person essentially, but you can't put an actual person in there. We're too complex.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's still a difference between not being able to uh uh like not totally like being able to capture the full complexity of a human being, but then there's just acting like a complete imbecile, despite all evidence to you being a person who preserves your own life and has preserved your life for several years, and it has at least trained your kid in sign language in order to keep them from getting killed.
Yeah, so maybe Patrick Willems, maybe I think you might need to make different friends, like maybe friends that aren't all from his neck of the woods. Maybe someone who
Yeah.
has emotional maturity. Because
Oh, imagine
like
having
Waller.
people who disagree with him and have emotional maturity.
Yeah,
What's
like
that?
he just says, yeah, I think there was a quote like he said like I only deal with the people that I have respect for.
yeah, I wonder who those people are.
Just right.
It's the thing
Just
is,
right's
like,
one of them.
what a lot of these people don't seem to understand, even some people within our own audience, I've noticed. So when people like talk, like it's good to have disagreements with people because that's interesting. That's where conversations come from. And originally on the Smudcast, like people thought that because me and Glib would argue and discuss and would have different views, that was somehow like us not liking each other. Like,
yeah, I don't think that. I think we like each other more and more as time goes on because it's like, well,
Mhm.
we're arguing about
It's-
stuff, and it's not really that big of a deal. It's more.
in the end, it's just people talking and discussing, and it's good to have people that don't agree with you because you know what happens if you have people that do nothing but agree with you all the time.
You get this. You get the Star Wars prequels.
So
Yes.
And you know what's funny is like I'm not a big
something
fan of
new.
fish, but there's people in my family that are.
I will
huge
fucking
fans of
murder you.
fish. Well, this is the whole thing. So it's like every time that we're eating fish, and I come over and I meet them and I say, hey, you know, and they're having that. I'm always trying to get into it. You know what I mean? I'm like trying to find a way to enjoy something that my taste buds don't normally get into, and so like through that I started to get into sushi, and so for some reason I like raw fish, and now I'm getting into cooked fish. So I'm taking my time. I have to get some fish and chips. I haven't had fish and
Oh,
chips.
okay, yeah. Come to the UK.
10 years.
What you need to do is you need to go to a place called Whitby, and they have. I've already forgotten what the fucking place is called, but there's an award-winning fish and chip shop. They get their fish like straight off. It's called the Magpie, and
That sounds
they're absolutely gorgeous.
Because I love chips, obviously, you know, and then it's fighting my.
Well, obviously for you, it's
inherent- you know what I mean.
it's fries for you, but you'd call it fries.
Right. See, like even though we have differences, I'm still going to use the terminology if we need to. Like,
Of course,
when
the
in Rome,
American
right?
term is the correct term. Obviously, it's the
It's freedom
our,
fries, not French fries.
freedom fries.
So
and the Belgians
our,
don't matter.
So our good friend Shadiversity just posted something relatively glorious. Does objective quality exist, and if it does, how to find it? A video essay.
Oh wow,
That'd
okay.
be interesting to watch.
I love this because to me it still just comes down to like there was this one point where Mahler said this is objectively bad, and then
That
everybody
Jedi is
flipped
objectively
out.
bad, and then
everybody
that launched 1,000 ships.
It seriously did. That was like the shot heard around the world. Now everything's about objectivity versus subjectivity, and I have to go get into these giant philosophical discussions with people and be like, oh, so you're a materialist, and yeah, you what are you? Oh, I believe in the mind is the center of everything, and then we have to get into all these weird conversations just because some people are afraid to say it's not good.
What was strange is that so as I started to learn more about objectivity and subjectivity, it was more a realization that both are completely valid. So the all objectivity really is just it's all just removing your bias to try and come and use certain criteria that we can agree upon to come to a conclusion. So it's kind of, in the best way of putting it, it's a discussion. So you put forward this argument and you explain why, and that argument is not made out of emotion. It's made out of just using the facts that are in the film. What is there and not what you've projected onto it. But and then you have the subjective, and I would say that subjective is also important because it's just purely how you feel, and that it's completely fine. You can feel however you want about this film, but the confusion is that some people seem to believe that just because you like a film means it's good. It's like, no, that's not the case at all.
For instance, Aragon is a far better movie in terms of writing, directing, acting, and costuming than Batman and Robin. However, I hate Aragon as a film and I find Batman and Robin absolutely hilarious, and I enjoy watching Batman and Robin more than I like watching Aragon. Side note, Shad's video is 39 minutes long.
He's turning to long man.
Yeah.
Hail the long man.
That must mean he's a bad guy then, because long form critique is the devil.
He's already been on like EFAP, so that he's already evil.
He's already
like,
bad.
the moment you even touch these people, you're just corrupted.
I think
Beyond
the moment you say Raise Mary Sue, you're kind of blacklisted.
He's a Mormon like me. How bad could he be?
Have you ever read the Study in Scarlet, the first Sherlock Holmes story?
I read it a very, very long time ago. I think I was like 7.
Do you remember the Mormon section in there where it's
there is a Mormon section, really?
Yeah, the murderer is a guy out for revenge, and he's out to go kill Mormons because there's a Mormon council. Because according to the story, Mormons are both like tyrannical people and ninjas. Like
Mormon ninjas.
Yeah, really?
Because
there's hilarious.
Because it starts
really?
with this old guy and this girl dying from exposure, and eventually they get saved. But it looks like they're going to die for exposure for a lot. But they eventually get saved, and they become he becomes a very, very wealthy, manages to take care of the daughter, and eventually the daughter falls in love with this guy, and they were saved by, I think, Mormons. I think Mormons saved them, and
that's interesting.
So they were invited to the community of Mormons, and they lived pretty well, and then everything started to happen. And the thing is, the Mormons wanted to take control more of their lives, and they kind of became like a guy who wouldn't stay in step with what they wanted. So he kind of became an enemy because he was so rich. Something like that. I can't remember the story exactly, but it was like eventually the Mormons came for them, and there's this one guy who was really good. It was like a hunter or something like that, who fell in love with the daughter, the old man adopted, and he went off to go hunt. And the old man said, he wrote to the guy and said, you got to come back immediately because the Mormons want to kill us. And I forgot what exactly the Mormons wanted, but they're counting down the days I think they wanted the girl to marry one of their main people or something. And every morning he would lock up his cabin lock up his house every night, lock it up tight, and every morning there would be like a number like written above his on the ceiling above his bed, like counting down the days until he has left to make the decision. And if he doesn't, they're going to come and kill him. And so Mormon ninjas, no matter how tightly he locked up his house, they could sneak inside somehow. And so the guy eventually comes back and in time, and he helps them escape and everything. And the Mormons hunt them down across country, and eventually he goes out, and
Really?
they escape. They seem like they're safe, and he goes out to scout and get some food because they're out of food. He comes back, and the Mormons already gotten him. Like they killed the guy, he's dead, and they're taking the girl back. And the girl gets the Mormons force the girl to marry one of the people, and she kills herself. And so that's why the guy goes back. He tracks down the main head honchos of this Mormon cabal, and he tracks them down for years.
Study in Scarlet. This is all in a study in Scarlet.
Yeah, it's a study in Scarlet.
Wow.
He hunts them down for years, and he tracks them eventually tracks them down from America to England, and that's where he does the murders and becomes and where Sherlock Holmes gets involved.
Wow. I'm like, okay, A, that does sound awesome. B, what did Sir Arthur Conan Doyle have an axe to grind regarding Mormons?
I don't know.
That's really hilarious.
But you don't often get that part of the section in Scarlet when they tell it to you nowadays. That's totally part of it.
That's actually hilarious. Like, I know that like in Quantico, there's like a bit where there's this Mormon kid that did something really bad on his mission after that he tried to cover up, and he killed himself while he was at Quantico in order to cover it up. It's like, oh, okay.
It kind of turns the story from just a regular story about a murderer to like a story where he gets caught, but he's satisfied because he managed to finally avenge his lost love and avenge the death of her father. And it was a very tragic story for the guy because he developed a disease while he was tracking them down. He threw his whole life away to get revenge. And but he was able to kill the Mormon leaders of the cabal or whatever, and able to get revenge. Even though Sherlock Holmes caught him, he was satisfied. He kind of died the next day. He never got to face quote unquote justice. Kind of just died in prison, but satisfied. See, Thunder Feet, thanks for the $4.99. Appreciate that. Only dealing with people you respect sounds like a good life to me. If it's people that you are freely to disagree with and everything, I'm pretty sure sometimes when they say people I respect, that means people who agree with me and who pat me on the back.
It's a circle jerk echo chamber, essentially.
Yeah. So, well, that sounds good on paper. It the way they put into practice.
Simple Tom, Teenage Mormon Ninja Turtles, Mormons, and
pretty much. It's pretty much
Ninja Power.
I was thinking, how are they doing this? He just locks up his house at night, but somehow he wakes up and there's like numbers over his bed and stuff. How are the Mormons doing this? Do they have Mormon ninjas? What's going on here? Because he was a rich guy. He was rich and powerful. So I don't know how they were able to do this, but they were. Well, it's an interesting story, and it's right in the middle. So like it's right in the middle of the study in Scarlet. So he's like they almost catch him, and he kind of reveals himself as the murderer. He's attacking Sherlock Holmes, and after the attack happens, they dive deep into this story about Mormons and stuff, and then they come back and bring it around and connect it back to Sherlock Holmes. Like, oh, so that's why he's after him. Okay. So that was the whole story behind the murderer. So, but I don't know. They still teach ninjutsu in Mormon schools or something?
No, there's no such thing as a Mormon school. Well, there's Mormon universities, but they don't teach ninjutsu. Sorry to disappoint.
They lost the lost art of Mormon ninjutsu. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's going off. Yeah, during that time period, it's a known fact that we were actually like relatively discriminated against, but we don't hold it against anybody. We don't
hold it against everybody. I hold all discrimination against everybody because otherwise I wouldn't have an identity. And that's why your people are bad and my people are good. I want to control video games.
Okay.
We're not going to take away your video games. Takes away video games.
I can bring it. Yeah, if I wanted to, I could bring up the fact that more LDS people were driven out of their homes, tarred and feathered, over and over again, shot. But the issue is they don't count because it's a religion, not a race. It's so contradictory. It's so stupid.
Should have done it more. No, I'm just kidding.
We're reaching the 2.5 hour mark. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream off here. We have a lot of other things to do today. So
sounds good.
Sounds good. I hope so. Thank you very much for joining us, chat. Thank you very much, Shiny and Glib, and
we learned how much plot holes don't matter.
Yeah. From the little itty bits that we saw.
Yeah, I think we could finish this another day. No problem. I think we have plenty. Always time for Patrick. Always make time for him.
Yeah.
EFAP covered this guy in exhaustive detail. Everybody and their dog has covered this guy in exhaustive detail. Cynical Stream.
He's so fun.
Everyone's done it.
He's so fun. So much fun, Patrick Willis.
That is not the word I would use. Word I would use is retarded.
He's so entertaining in how wrong he is. I think Smudboy put it.
Okay, so all right, so thank you very much for joining me, Shiny Glib and Lord Captain Dunn, and thank you very much, Best Chat, for coming in and tuning in for some delicious nonsense. There we go. Oh yeah, that's what Angry Joe said. Or Master DX. Angry Joe said, "No one's gonna take away your porn, your prawn." And they did. They won't take it off you.
They will.
That's funny, Joe, because that's exactly what happened.
They say that stuff just as long as until they gain enough power, and then they go ahead and take it away. They'll say, "We're not going to do X," and then until they gain enough power. That's the caveat. It's like that's the thing they don't tell you. They don't finish the sentence. We're not going to do X until we have enough power to do so without consequence. That's what it is. So whenever they say something like that, just remember that little ending that they don't tell you until we have enough power to do so with a consequence. Okay, so remember today, chat. The reason why I'm quitting, at the 2.5 hour mark is because today, hopefully, I'll have the video game streaming today. We're going to continue Danganronpa as far as I am concerned, far as I have planned. But that's going to be later on this afternoon. So that's why we're quitting. We're not going to 3.5 hours or anything like that. So there you go. So tune in for that if you want to watch that. And I will see you all next time